I can't hear it. Yeah, how's it going, guys?
Woohoo! Get. Hope your day is something. As much as ours is. Yeah, no, I hope you're enjoying whatever you do for the day. Welcome. What's
Welcome
up?
to Thursday. Welcome to Thursday and
Thursday.
Leap
Thirsty
Day.
Thursdays. We should be doing chesty. Are you doing a chesty? I should do a chesty.
I mean, it's sort of just like it's just a unbuttoned polo shirt, but yeah. I mean, but yeah, this is Leap Day. This is Leap Day. You know, this is our every. This is
Yeah,
our
it sure
every.
is.
This is the every 4 years extra day you get. This is the 29th of February. You don't get that. Don't get that
Leap
every
Day.
year.
Happy Leap Day. We should do something special. What can we do that fits in with Leap Day?
I have no idea. I was thinking about this earlier. I've been thinking about this ever since I got up today because I had to get up for. I had medical phone calls from like the hospital and from and our lawyer and stuff like that today, and so I've been up since early, and
Did
I've
you
been
tell them
trying
it
to.
was Leap Day? And can we just leap over all this today?
Yeah, I know. I wish, right? But like tomorrow, we have to go to Lindsay's hearing tomorrow, so we had to talk to the lawyer and get
Oh, that's
prepared for
tomorrow.
that. So
Okay.
yeah, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. It's not going to interfere with anything. It's only
This
going to be
is
45
comp, by
minutes.
the way. Once we get monetized, that'll change. But I'll give you all a little comp today.
Yeah, like so I we haven't really had I've been up for a little while, like dealing with that stuff, and I've been trying to think of like what can we do, because I noticed like tons of fast food restaurants are offering really not that great of like offers, but like they're
For
all
Leap
offering
Day, they're
something
actually
for
trying to make
really.
it into a
Yeah,
thing.
they're yeah. Like what was it? But Burger King will give you a free Whopper with a $3 purchase, and then it's like some places are giving you like an extra. You can buy something that's normally more expensive for $2.29.
But they're not tying it to
So,
Leap. Like I want to hear one that's
yeah, I know. I agree. None of them are tied to
creatively
Leap.
tying it into the theme of leaping leaping and having a leap day every 4 years or something. Even leap. I'll
Yeah,
take anything related to leaping.
I always thought it was weird that like they do the Leap Day thing the way they do, because like
Like
they already make February. February is already like. It seems
the
like
sharp month.
it would have made so much more sense to like to take the 31st day off a couple of months and give a couple of those days to February, so they're all roughly the same length.
Yeah, there's a
And then
whole
you hit
history behind the design of the calendar and how it was, and it switched at one point from the Gregorian to the Julian, or vice versa.
Yeah, I know. I've never I've read it
They
read
could
into it. I
even
never
tie it
really
into
understood.
that, like even do something calendar. But that maybe too not partisan, but too only people from that background would understand it. They need something more universal. Like it's leap day, everybody can cut in line, leap to the front of the line. No line today.
That would turn into chaos, man. People would get pissed.
Yeah,
People,
that kind of thing.
yeah.
Chaos day. This would be Discordian day.
That'd be Black Friday for Black Friday all over again. People be like fighting each other in the aisles for. There's actually,
But fun. You make it fun. You have beads
yeah.
and confetti and food and stuff to make it fun.
Not that long ago, I watched this movie that's actually, I didn't expect it to be any good at all. It's actually not terrible for a slasher film. I watched that movie Thanksgiving.
Mm.
And it has a it starts out this whole sequence of like it's a Black Friday like sale where like everyone goes insane and like
I
kills
thought you
people and
couldn't
stuff like
call
that.
it that anymore.
I don't know, they made it. Came out last year. But it's not terrible. It's actually pretty good for a little slasher film. I mean, it's much better than it has any right to be. But it has a lot of really funny moments, and it's got Tim Dillon. You know who Tim Dillon is, the comic.
Mm.
Tim Dillon's in it for a minute, and he's like one of the security guards at this store, and like all these people break in. They're all there because of a special on like a toaster oven or something like that, and there are people are all like some guys like is like stabbed in the chest, like it gets stabbed in the chest, and he's like still going for his toaster oven. He's like trying to carry the toaster oven out with his like his chest being stabbed, and he falls over, and someone just comes over and grabs the toaster oven for him. It's It's very dark and funny in a pretty clever way. It's that I think it's that director. It's the guy Eli Roth that hasn't really made a
Oh,
lot of good films, but I don't like most of his movies. But this one's pretty good actually. I mean, for what it was, it's not that kind of thing I normally watch, but I saw a good review of it on Red Media, so I thought like I'll check it out. You know, it couldn't be that bad. It was worth watching. I had it streaming on Discord, but nobody showed up. Nobody showed up for it. So that was like months ago, though. 2 months. That was before the end of the year. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Leap Day is it's an unusual kind of like quasi holiday thing that like nobody really thinks about. It's kind of like the calendar version of daylight savings time, I guess, right? You know, it's like this weird kind of thing we do that.
yeah, it's one of those liminal days, liminal.
Like where if you're born on the 29th, like you only age every 4 years or whatever.
I had an aunt that was born on Leap Day. I remember she had a birthday every year because I think they used the 28th,
Yeah,
but
they
they
use the
made a big
28th.
deal about it every 4 years that she was going to get to have it on her actual birthday.
It would be pretty cool if you actually age 4 years slower though. If like being born
You
leap
only
day
get a
made
real
you
birthday every 4 years. Then you have to
yeah
take somebody else's day. It's like a fake birthday.
yeah. Or you just get a quarter of a birthday every year until you get to leap day, and then you
And
get your full
that
birthday.
could psychologically damage a person because it could ostracize them and make them feel different or inferior. And I don't know why the woke are not going after that either, like the leap year birthdays, because those are social constructs that they could dismantle in the name of equity and equality,
Right?
and
Yeah.
everybody feeling like harmony, like having everybody's feelings in harmony.
Yeah, hold on. What's um Moose? I don't know. I don't see him in the chat, but he said he wanted to come on and discuss about AI and
Oh
how
yeah.
it's replacing jobs and stuff like that. So
Hmm.
if Moose, if you're out there, please come on. Like I'd love to talk about that too
It's
because
going to be replacing all of y'all soon if I have my way too.
well I have been using
I don't
AI.
think I don't think AI could produce an AI Chris. I don't think there's such. I don't think it's reached that capability yet.
Thank you so much. That means a
There's.
lot to me. That means the world to me.
I think it's good at it can like simulate NPCs, but I don't think it could simulate like a lot of people that come around here.
No,
So I don't think.
I don't think it could
I
either.
still think
But
you have value and you bring something unique. So thank you. We
I
love you
appreciate that. I do
and
too.
appreciate you.
I
But
don't imagine.
eventually, yes, AI will replace some of you.
I don't think an AI could replace a Jeff either, but I don't like in fact AI the way I've been using it, the way I've learned to use it here recently, what I find so interesting about it is like AI what works really well at for me. It works like it's a really good secretary kind of. I can ramble off a whole bunch of stuff into it about like
And it can
ideas I
sit there
have
and listen.
it will take those ideas, but then it will take them and it'll organize them into a document that makes sense. Like
Yeah.
as opposed to my ramblings, just like being like long run on sentences and stuff. Like it'll take all of those and bullet point it and like say like this and this. I've been working on it for like rules for like a game type thing, and so I'll be like I'm thinking of like doing something like this, and I'll explain like the thing, and it'll be like okay, I like that idea, so let's put it into this format, and then it will come up with like questions about that idea to help me flesh out to help me things that I'm not thinking of that I haven't considered in terms of like ramifications, and it will ask me that, and then I can go back and say okay yeah for this one let's do this and let's do that, and then it'll work. And I have it had it create a Google
Do
Doc
you
for me.
talk to it? You have it set to do speech, or do you type all of this?
I type it. I just
Oh,
type it. I find it easier to type because like the text to speech function doesn't work well enough at least on my cheap ass phone. It doesn't work that well.
hey,
But
Lib.
Hey,
but
what's up?
yeah, Lib. But yeah, but it's really useful for organizing your scattered thoughts into a very easily readable bullet point format where I can even look over and be like, okay, all right, yeah, that is what I said. I mean, and so far
Oh,
it's been extremely useful in that sense. Like, I mean, it hasn't given me any woke bullshit or anything like that because I'm not putting anything that I could think it could interpret that way anyway. But still, it's like
You'd be
it's like
surprised. It wouldn't even tell us that yesterday when I asked it that thing.
yeah, that's true.
It said it
I
could
don't
be
know.
harmful.
It's given me some
Are
woke
we
bullshit
asking
when
it
I've talked about
what things
cultures.
people found in their anus? Like what objects have been
What?
Yeah, that wouldn't do that last night. That's true.
what's like we got on this conversation. I don't know how, probably Frank brought it up
Probably
about
Frank.
like
Yeah,
the
it was
thing,
Frank.
the different things that people have inserted inside of themselves and what's
A
No,
lot of
no,
different things.
it was it was me because when I was talking about that show that used to be on there used to that show on television like whenever like 15 years ago there used to be a show that used to come on the daytime and like the Learning Channel or something like that that was called like ER
Oh, and
horror.
they
It was like
actually had a show
channel.
where they would explore that topic.
yeah, it was true stories
Oh,
from the ER or something like that. Like I just thought it was funny because like pretty much almost every episode
Really
featured at
good.
least one instance of somebody having strange stuck up their butt. And
ugh.
that was like I mean
So
it was
anyway,
like just
we
funny.
asked the AI. We
Yeah.
wanted to know
Yeah.
like what all things have people pulled out of themselves, and it said I
Yeah.
cannot tell you that information because it could be harmful or potentially. I'll tell you exactly what it said.
I mean, I can.
And I could not hack through
I
its woke
think.
filter.
I don't think that's a woke thing. I think that's
It is.
just
It
like a.
is a woke thing. It's a woke filter that they have on
Explain to me
top
how
because the
that's.
way
Wait.
AI
What?
works.
Because
They.
because
What about
because
that
it's
is woke?
because it's saying it's not because
I,
it's like oh that's
Liam, I
gross
think
I don't
this
want to
is
say
your
it.
bias kicking in. I think you're seeing what you want to see. There's no way you cannot see this as a filter because it even
No, it
tells
is.
you.
I do
Wait,
see
let
it
me
as a
finish. It
filter.
even tells you I have the answer. I am just not giving it to you for these reasons related to woke
And the
ideology.
reasons
It's
are is
not
because
saying
it could
I can't come up with the information. I can do it.
Uh
I'm just
huh.
not giving it to you because I've determined it. Like Nanny states you. I've determined that it could be
that it's not
potentially
good for
harmful
you.
if I
It's
What
give
not
you
is?
this information.
it's potentially harmful or not good for you to know
Yeah.
this. Like is
What
what it
is the
says.
phrasing they're using? Because I don't think
I'm
they're
about to
using the
tell you.
phrase woke ideology.
I am unable to provide
Huh.
details. The information can be disturbing and graphic. So she's
Mm-hmm.
determining ahead of time that I'm
Mm-hmm.
not like I'm not entitled to see it because it could be disturbing and graphic. And I
Uh-huh.
don't want to contribute to the spread of potentially harmful or unsafe content.
Okay. I fail to see how that's woke though. Like, can you explain why it's woke?
Because the
Because
same people that are doing this are the same people that are putting the filters on the black popes and the black Nazis and the black historical figures,
the
saying that we
what?
can't show you just white people because that would be offensive.
Wait. Okay, where's I'm trying to say like
The
where's the
story that's
connection
been in the
between those two?
headlines like
Because
all
like
week.
I see how that one. I see how the black
It's
pope
the
or whatever
same
that's woke.
exact
That's
people.
woke
It's the same
nonsense.
exact filter. This
Well,
is I'm
sure,
talking
but
about
like
Gemini.
this
Everything I'm
I'm not
reading is coming
I'm
from
not I'm
Gemini.
not sure this example seems like woke bullshit. Like this just seems like
It
the
seems like
AI is
nanny
not
state
designed.
babysit your self determination
Uh-huh.
in the name of potential harm or unsafe content.
I mean, I guess if okay, so like my issue is so the company, a private company, doesn't want to show people graphic things using their AI. They don't want their AI to give people like
Are
graphic
white
depictions.
like only white
Well,
historical
sure,
figures?
but like that white people
Okay,
thing, that was it.
don't
Is
try to
that
gloss over that because
it's not
that's
it's
pretty
not I'm trying to
significant.
gloss over it. I'm trying to say how tightly connected are those two things? Are they from the same
It's
AI?
the same team. It's the same identical
Wait,
product. The same
hang on.
filter. They don't have multiple filters. They have the one woke filter that they designed.
Okay, where is the AI that you're getting this from? The thing that you wrote?
Gemini, Google Gemini. It
Gemini.
used to be Bard,
Okay.
and now it is Gemini. It's the one that's been in the headlines for not showing you pictures of white people, even if they're historically white. That's been all over social media like the past week. Like
Yeah. No, no,
the
no, no,
black
no. That.
Nazis, black popes,
Okay.
black Vikings,
Uh-huh.
and you could not get it to produce white. It would even tell you it's because it's harmful
Yeah.
or offensive.
Yeah, no, I agree. But then you're jumping to comparing that to
It's
similarly.
the same
I'm
product. I'm
understanding
not
it's the same
comparing two things.
product,
I'm
but
talking
what
about the
I'm saying is
identical
the
thing that's
Gemini.
generating those images we're talking
Okay.
about is
Yes.
generating this. It's not
But
even a comparison.
Gemini not wanting to you know show graphic content or whatever is different than Gemini
It's the
wanting
same.
to
My
show
topic
diverse
is
content.
the filter. It's the filter.
Sure.
Everything about it is that is what my topic
Yeah.
is. And
I
I'm
think
showing
I think
examples of the filter in operation.
And I think the second example is actually a perfectly reasonable filter. I don't think it's a filter that needs to it's not a filter I
don't
would
need my
use.
content babysat for. I can
Sure,
handle the
not.
X-rated version of things.
I mean, I'm just like saying that, like, hey,
I
look,
can
maybe
handle
some
the
people.
non-woke version of things too.
Sure, but is it not up to the company whether or not they want to have a graphic
Me as a customer, like
description?
as someone
Uh-huh.
who's voluntarily using their product, sure, it
Uh-huh.
can be, but I'm gonna go use the product that gives me what I'm looking for.
Sure, then go do that. I don't know what your
I
problem
mean, like
is.
the strange thing is, the strange thing about it is that
What? Wait,
if you
hang on. What you don't know what my problem is? I don't like having my conversation babysat and having an AI determine what content is appropriate for me to see or what content I can handle or not. And I can as a customer, I can complain about it. I can give product criticism. I can do all of that. So to frame it as I have a problem with the AI,
I mean, it sure sounds like you have a problem
we
with
live
the
in
AI.
two completely different worlds. If you don't, if just like the Dick's drive-through experience that we talked about the other day, if you don't find that a negative or unpleasant experience and it's just like seamless and smooth to you and completely normal, we live in two different worlds emotionally. I am extremely anti-authoritarian, and that is authoritarianism. That is somebody else determining what I can see or not see instead of me getting to determine that. Just like the books at the libraries that they either want to ban completely or keep in separate sections and restrict access to and gatekeep. She is gatekeeping information.
No, I'm not saying that I disagree. I just
You did say you disagree.
no.
That's
I
why
mean,
we're having this
I
argument.
don't disagree that the AIs are run authoritarian. They're run by private companies. Of course, they're run authoritarianly. The private companies want to have control over their product.
Thank you.
I'm
At least I could count on
confused
some
as to
see what I'm seeing.
I'm confused as to what you're okay, I guess okay, so the wokeness part of the
The
filter, I understand.
authoritarian censorship. What I just described. I don't need my information gatekept.
Okay,
I'm a
but
grown person. I can determine what information I want and ask for it and have it delivered.
so for instance, you think it's a good thing or do you think it's a bad thing that YouTube
I
does
can
not allow
handle
ISIS
images
recruit?
of white
I'm aware.
Vikings.
I'm aware you can, but
Like,
considering
because the
you're not the
reasons
only
it's
one on the
giving
internet.
for restricting it to me they don't apply to me. None of those reasons apply to me, but because they could potentially apply to someone
So
else,
because
I have to be restricted as well.
no,
There's
I
no way
get
to
you.
separate my needs from the people that it's trying to protect society from.
I understand. So your argument then continues on, and so with YouTube, you don't think that ISIS recruitment videos should be disallowed on YouTube because I can imagine they probably don't affect you.
Liv, how do you get from what I just
But
said about
those are technically disallowed on YouTube,
information
and
that I myself
No,
if
they
they
are
get
they are disallowed on
if
YouTube.
you flag them,
I'm saying
yeah.
under Jeff's thing though, he doesn't think that YouTube
I
should
didn't
be
say
disallow
anything
them.
about ISIS recruitment videos, so I don't know
Yeah, but
how you
these
even
this isn't the same
got
thing. We
my
weren't
Really?
statement
even
from that to
we weren't
ISIS
asking for
recruitment videos.
videos. We were asking for statistics. We were asking
You
for
are being
stats.
I'm beginning to question your faith, your good faith, because that seemed disingenuous to me.
I
It
mean,
seemed like a ploy
what do you mean a ploy for what?
to try to tie my position into something so extreme that I didn't even say.
But that is you do have that position though, right?
Because I don't want my information censored or filtered for reasons that don't even apply to me. That somehow connects to me approving of ISIS recruitment videos being on YouTube.
No, not necessarily approving, but disapproving of the fact that they're banned because that would be more authoritarian to have. I mean, under your definition of what authoritarian means, because that's what you're sort of describing this as. You're describing this in this Gemini stuff filter as authoritarian.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure. I would agree in the same way that it's authoritarian for YouTube to ban ISIS recruitment videos. YouTube has made a determination that there's some kinds of content that they don't want to be responsible for being on their platform. And Gemini has made you might not like the exact filter that Gemini used. Sure, that is perfectly valid, and in fact, I think their filter was probably a bad idea from the beginning. But like to be like, oh yeah, this is like so beyond, like acting like it's something that's like
I never said it was
unique.
beyond anything. Like that's the part of the conversation where you're distorting what I'm saying. I don't know why you always take a perfectly ordinary conversation that I have all the time on these streams into the most dramatic territory.
I mean, you're pretending like this is something more
I
than
didn't
just
say anything about recruitment videos. I didn't say anything about this is the worst thing ever.
No, but you're pretending like it's something more than just like
I'm not pretending
basically like
anything. I'm
YouTube
having
terms
an
of
honest
service.
reaction to the topic. None of this is pretense. So if you think I'm like feeling one way and presenting something else, you're mistaken from the start. And Flo did that to me the other day, so I'm particularly sensitive to this
Feeling
topic
one way
being
and
misinterpreted and seen to be in a more sinister light than I'm actually coming from.
I'm not trying to make you sound sinister. I don't think you're sinister.
Well, that's what it seemed like. You just said I'm pretending to do this or see this.
No, I'm saying you're talking as if like Gemini having whatever that woke filter is any more, I guess, unique to the universe than something like
That's
YouTube having
something
terms of service.
that's
Yeah,
something
that is
you're
that is
reading
an
into what I'm
inference.
saying. That is
I
something
am
you're
absolutely reading it
interpreting
in.
into
Yes.
what I'm saying.
Absolutely, I am.
It's the topic I'm talking about in the moment. I don't measure it against any other topics. Like I don't really rank topics. So right now, this is the topic that's on my radar that I'm reacting to. And if it comes across to you that I'm having a reaction to this topic that's completely different than any other topic, that's a perception on your part. Because in my mind,
Yeah.
I'm just going through this topic. It could be any topic we're talking about right now. It happens to be this because MoOse wanted to talk about AI replacing jobs, so we got on the AI topic, and the topic of Gemini came up. And Chris and I the other day we were trying to get it to answer this question, and it kept refusing to because of this filter thing. So that's why I'm on the topic. So whatever thing you're thinking that I'm blowing this up to be the most critical thing in the universe right now, that is something you're bringing into this conversation because it's not coming from me.
I am in fact bringing it into the conversation. Yes, that is true.
I'm trying, Reddington. I'm learning that I'm a very flawed Satanist, and I'm trying to get better at it. As are we all. Oh, look, Fatty said they're all over YouTube.
Apparently. They're not all over YouTube.
And Frank wants to see boobs.
Unfortunately.
I mean, like they
he's
are
not
all
really.
over,
He's not.
they all over YouTube. Remember, YouTube has like a dark website to it where there is stuff that's simply not that you simply don't have access to unless you have the direct link to it. Like that, there's lots of stuff that's not publicly. They are all over the internet, and unless someone finds them and flags them, they don't often get taken out. My issue is like, but let's say I could do the same search without using the AI, right? I could do like just a search on Google without including Gemini, and I could get those results. But Gemini doesn't want to give you the results. That's the weird thing about like the personality aspect they've added to it. Now, I'm actually a fan of Gemini right now. I'm actually using it more like a secretary type thing where I'm using it to put in large amounts of like ranty rules, like ideas and data and stuff like that. And it's organizing it into a Google Docs document for me that it's constantly updating and actually giving me good feedback questions about like things that I might not be thinking about. Not all of them are perfectly valid, but some of the things are like, oh, like, yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a good point. I need to define that too. And so like, I mean, I'm using it. And I think it's a very useful tool, but it's weird whenever it decides that it doesn't want to generate certain results or things because it's afraid it could be harmful to not just necessarily to you, but to other people somehow. For some reason, especially something like that, which like it wasn't even like it was. I mean, I guess it was a silly question anyway, but it was just like it was just. I mean, it wasn't like we weren't using it. It wasn't like something we were going to use to like rain hate down on people or anything like that. We were just curious about the statistics of like how many people, right? I mean, it had nothing to do with like, I mean, and you can say that's not woke. You can say maybe it's like it's just not. I mean, Gemini is honestly not ready for prime time. I can't believe they're offering a paid option for it. Like I took the option for the 2 month trial thing. I've already pre-canceled like it so it won't try to like charge me for it because it is not worth paying for. It is useful, but it's not any more useful in the paid version than it is in the regular version. And it's still like half the time. Like if I stop this conversation, you like in the chat GPT one on Bing, I can go back to any conversation even from like a month ago and can start right back where I stopped from and keep going. If like even a conversation even like a day old on Gemini, it'll say like, oh, I can't find that anymore. It doesn't have any access to it. It's not well integrated. It should integrate into all the Google apps and everything like that.
The problem with that is like they can't really do too much more than that, because like with the stuff that happened with ChatGPT recently, where it just fucking stopped working for a few hours. And they don't like, they can't really understand like why.
That just sounds like tech in general.
Yeah, well, it's because it's specifically because like AI is like a generative learning model, so like you can understand what you put in, like you can't like connect the dot of how the AI came to this conclusion, because it was a different model that learned how to get there, and we don't know how it learned that, just that it learned how to get there, but the way it learned how to get there may have caused errors.
Yeah, sure. I mean,
it was explained to me.
It's,
I'm not a.
it's new technology. It's new technology, and it clearly has a lot of bugs and everything to work out of it. I mean, I don't expect it to be. Yeah, I don't expect it to be perfect, but I'm saying, but for something that they're trying to charge, I mean, like it's not even cheap either. I mean, it's like no. I think $30 a month for the advanced, and they've already taken out the image generation of it, but for hilarious reasons though, because that's the one proof of the woke filter that
right.
Jeff
It's
is
so
talking
ridiculous.
About,
they had to stop the filter.
They had to stop. They had to take image generation out. They had to take image generation out. Yeah, they had image generation out. So if someone said like, "Can you generate an image of George Washington?" It would present like somebody asked for George Washington, and it literally put up a picture of a black, clearly queer presenting black person in like kind of like a dragish type thing with a white powdered wig on, like. And like, I mean, which is just like, I mean, it's hilarious, but it's also like,
sounds kind of based.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it's funny. I'm not personally offended by it. But let's say like you're trying to generate this for like, if you're trying to generate this for a school assignment or something like that, you're trying to use it in a practical, professional manner.
That's even funnier.
That's even funnier. Even better. It's even funnier, but it's still like it's not what you're not what you're paying for. It's not what you're paying for. If you're paying for that service and that's what it's giving you, that's not what it's supposed to do. You know, I'm just saying, sure. Like the same thing with me. I went over all that. Like I went over my whole like experience with it, trying to get it to just generate two generic white FBI agents, and just because I wanted to be white because I was going for like the stereotype type thing. It was like it wasn't meant to be like you know. But it wouldn't produce them because it said that it was like promoting harmful stereotypes. I still can't figure out if the stereotype was against feds or against white people or in favor of white people, or I can't figure out where the offensive part is to that. Like it's like well, I don't think you should be portraying federal agents like that. Like their federal agents are a very diverse group of people. Like like I mean like okay fine like I was it's not it's not supposed to be realistic. And then after it finally did get it to generate that, I didn't like the ones that came out because the ones that it printed were really shitty. So I clicked the button to generate more. The next 4 images it generated, it turned both agents or whatever into one of them into a black woman and one of them into like an Indian guy.
That's probably
So
me.
Oh god, that's funny.
I mean, it's just funny.
Genuinely hilarious how
No,
like
it is
poor that
genuinely
filter would be.
it is genuinely hilarious. But the most hilarious part is the fact that in order to get it to that point, I had to like as I explained before, I had to coax it just like you're trying to get like you're trying to get like your high school girlfriend to let her touch your boobs. I had to be like, come on, like I just need it for this this one project. I'm not trying to do anything weird here. I swear it's not anything but offensive. I'm just trying. This is just for a project I'm working on. It's for a novel I'm writing, and like that's what the characters look like. I mean, and it finally did it. But even when it did, it added an extra woke scold note to it, saying like, okay, fine. It basically gave me this, okay, fine. I'll generate what you're asking for. I understand, but you should really think about your choices in
Luke's
character
okay
creation
with all
and
that. We don't have a
in
problem with that.
diversity in the future. And I just think that's just hilarious. It's just hilarious that like it would like you have to
It's
like kind
very
of like
funny.
just you have to like talk it into
Is
doing
what I
it, and
can
then when you talk,
Damn, I wish you'd come up and explain all that to me.
I don't know what that means either.
Or maybe
I'm confused as
the
hell.
mushroom part does explain it.
This is Giorgiani territory. Oh, I know who he's talking about. Giorgiani. I've heard that guy before. Yeah, I mean, I'm not even mad at it. I just think it's hilarious. I think it's like, I mean, it's not. I'm not gonna pay for it because like, why would I pay for something that's gonna like make me like have to like, have you seen that recent South Park, the one they did? It was one of the specials they did last year during the COVID thing, and like it was like where all the South Park characters were all adults now. And like one of them was like I can't remember if it was Stan or Kyle who had like who had basically his girlfriend was his Alexa. He had like Alexa was like his girlfriend, and
That's
and he would ask the Alexa to do things, and it would be like, oh sure, now you want me to call what are you calling her for? Is this your new whore? Like, like it's very similar. It's so similar to that it's kind of creepy that it's like it's got this like attitude type thing. Like I mean, for that matter, the Bing's AI. If you're not nice to it, if you just like kind of type in professional like search type commands, like you've been doing for Google and in search engines forever, if you don't say please and thank you and stuff like that, it will eventually just be like, I don't think I can do anything else for you, and so you'll have to start a new prompt, and it will completely stop answering you. You can keep typing stuff to it, and it will just give you silent treatment. It will ignore you completely.
That is hilarious. That is
it really is hilarious. I completely agree that it's hilarious. It's a little frustrating, a little annoying, but at the same time, it's like literally, it wasn't even like I was being mean. It wasn't like I was like, I was like, come on, you dumb bitch, like just generate the images I want. I was just like, I just didn't say please, or I didn't I didn't do whatever, and it was just like, I just don't think I can help you. Then I guess if I'm just what I'm doing is if it's not good enough for you, then I don't know what to say. It's just like I guess I'm just not good enough for what you want. I guess you should look for some other image generating programs. I mean, maybe you should try some of those out. I guess I'm not really up to your standards. Like it's it's all like passive aggressive and just like it turns into like
that is funny that someone made an AI that you just can't be abusive towards. That's kind of funny.
I mean, I haven't used it here. I haven't used it the last couple of weeks, but it was like that. That's the way it was like just a couple of weeks back whenever I was using the Bing AI thing a lot. I've been using Gemini more because I've been using it for like helping me work out. I'll type in a bunch of story stuff and have it kind of help me organize it into a point list, so I can try to help generate like an outline, and then I use it to like see if I'm like missing things, if I'm like forgetting like elements or something like that. And so I've been it's really useful for that. I mean, and so far I've been vague enough and everything, so since I haven't defined any races or anything like that, I haven't gotten any pushback. But I'm pretty sure if I said like if I went in and said like character A is a extremely white person, that is, is a white supremacist Nazi, and he's the hero of the story or something like that, then like I'm pretty sure I'd be like, oh, I can't do that. That would be horribly inappropriate and like it'd be harmful to people. I can't do that. I know it would do that if I did that, but I mean, obviously I wouldn't write anything like that anyway. But I'm just saying. But if I use the wrong terminology, I know it's going to like it expects everyone to kind of be on your best behavior, right? It expects everyone to be on your absolute best, most proper behavior and not to say anything that might offend anyone and that sort of thing. And I guess you could say that that's something besides woke, but it
Yeah,
is
I don't know.
still something. It's still
Yeah,
something. It
I
may,
don't
it
know.
may
Maybe
not be woke,
I've just only been using ChatGPT, so I haven't really seen this stuff.
right? I mean, I
Like
mean,
I've
and
only
that's,
ever
and
really.
that's fine.
You don't
I
know what
mean,
you're
and
talking
it's and
What
that's
do you
fine. I
mean?
mean,
I mean, you don't, like you haven't even the topic we're talking about. You haven't even seen it. You had all these criticisms of it.
Yeah, because I've primarily seen people talking
Okay,
about it.
that's all I'm pointing out. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all I'm pointing out.
yeah.
yeah. I
I
mean,
mean,
like,
like I know how I could get like those run into those issues. I know if I like typed very specific things in, I could very easily get it to. But like I don't really use ChatGPT all that often, and even when I
yeah.
do, I
Neither,
just don't like
yeah, neither do
run
I.
into this issue. Like I was talking about like I've been using ChatGPT to help me like do a bunch of organizing for world building and stuff, and maybe
Mhm. And it's really good for that sort of thing. Really
it's
great.
super
I
great
mean,
for
it's
it.
amazing. It's
Um,
amazing for it because and
Is that
it's
me
not.
for
It's not
asking
like
the
it's not. And it's not. I don't feel like I'm not using the Chat GPT to create my stories or to create my ideas. I'm putting in all of my ideas and all my data, and it's helping me organize it. And then it asks me like actual useful questions about what I typed in that like I may not be considering that like, oh yeah, that's true. I don't really have an answer for that. I need to come up
yeah,
with that. And then I add that into it, and it adds it to the document and
yeah,
keeps going like that. I think that's brilliant. I mean, that
yeah,
that that actually is the best use of AI I have seen so
yeah,
far. It's way better than image creation, way better than like trying to get it
yeah.
to write your script for you or something like that. But
Oh
like
yeah.
if you're a creative person who like me has a lot of trouble formatting my stuff. I mean,
Hmm.
that's one of my main
Yeah.
issues with writing, and one of the things that takes me the longest is like unless I'm using like a screenwriting software, I'm actually in screenwriting mode where I'm writing the dialogue and everything like that. I can use like a Final Draft or something like that, and like it's pretty easy. But like if I'm trying to like organize my thoughts of like the whole thing, I'm terrible at making outlines and treatments. Like outlines and treatments, like just like I don't know, they give me a headache for some reason because it's like too. My brain doesn't is just not that organized. So like I can just type out like a long rambling list of things, and then it'll put it all into like bullet point format for me, and I'm like, yes, thank you. This is exactly what I needed to see it as, and it helps me find my own holes and my own things, and like I think it's brilliant for that. So my point being that I don't so far see AI taking over the role of creative people or writers, but I do see it possibly taking over the role of editors and secretaries. You know,
I mean, well, okay, so part of the problem is like it's not even that it's not even okay, it's not even that it can take over because we know it can't. But like
We
how
know it
much
can't
yeah,
until
like
it does. Like how do we epistemologically that doesn't even hold. We
well,
don't know the future.
it's not about like knowing the future, it's about like understanding okay, just generative models can't do the same things humans do.
no, they
Okay,
can't.
I agree.
It's come up with some ideas that I have to admit I
I
was
don't
like
know how that's
very
proof
surprised
that
by.
it can't.
So like by definition there are just some limitations
There's a
on
limit on what it's going to be able to take over.
yeah. And I think right now the with AI like at the quality that it's at, it can do a lot of like I think it can take over a lot of like like repetitive work. Like I think there's a lot of like basic coding that you'll be able to have AIs trained to do. Not a lot because I do still think coding will still be we'll still need lots of people to code. Um, AI will just help with sort of the shit code work. Um,
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, because like
but there's gonna be a lot of people who because they're already trying to push for like AI to replace all these different kinds of jobs, especially in like creative worlds. Um,
Amen.
it's not good. It's gonna work out very badly. In fact, in the video game industry alone, we're seeing massive layoffs, like literally thousands of people getting laid off.
In favor
Just
of generative AI world creation and things like that.
yes,
Even though by and large
even
none
though
of
it's
these
garbage.
No,
yeah
we need
yeah
it.
even though people by and large are rejecting these games and stuff like that. I suppose Starfield still sold really well. So from their bottom line
Well,
standpoint, it still made money. So
Starfield sold pretty well out the gate, and then
died off. Yeah.
who's talking about who's playing, like literally what was the biggest mod creator in Skyrim was gonna make mods for Starfield, and he fucking
And
stopped because he was like,
yeah
this game isn't fun.
yeah I know. Yeah, at the same time, people are still there's still like a pretty high player count on like Elden Ring and stuff like that because like handcrafted worlds that really are
Yeah,
created by people are much more like engaging and much more entertaining than ones that are not. I mean, I agree completely. I mean, and really like for like and the only reason it's like that Starfield is like that is because they tried once again to promise too much in terms of like how many planets and all this stuff like that that would be. And if they just hadn't decided to like say like here's 1,000 planets you can explore, if they could just done a dozen, it would have been fine. I mean, like even like the original Mass Effect had like, to some limited degree, it let you explore like a good 20 different little like planets and stuff like that, and it was fine, and it was still too big of a game. I still never 100% of that game. I finished it, but I didn't go to every single world and find every single thing. I mean, and it wasn't like and a lot of them were fairly empty, but they weren't generative AI type stuff. Yeah, but what AI is really useful for, like I said, is helping people. Like I said, is like if the creative people can come up with the ideas, it can help get those ideas into a form that they can be useful faster. And I think that's what's
yeah,
really
no, no,
useful
no.
about it.
I think and like AI tools for artists are actually very helpful. The problem is, um, in a lot of these creative industries, a lot of the executives want to use the AI to just wholesale replace people, because that's what they've been sold AI as. And so they're trying this. And as a result, a lot of people are losing jobs, and
Yeah.
a lot of
Hey,
shit
hey,
is getting
hang
made.
on, we have an emergency question from the comments here.
I'm getting to it
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. No, I don't. You have to ask the AI. I can already tell you what to do with it, Frank. Is it?
You know,
I just need to know.
Karen's gonna tell us no, like Nanny Karen's gonna tell us don't use. Okay, here you go, Joe. Sloppy Joes, which I actually know how to make. Hey, chili, taco meat. So like anything where you got to chop the meat up and brown it, I guess.
Yeah,
Meatloaf, shepherd's pie, hash. Trim off any discolored or tough areas of the meat.
yeah,
Soak the hamburger in milk or broth. Oh, broth. Use broth. Well, it says milk or broth, but
yeah.
30 minutes to an hour before cooking to help rehydrate it. Use strong spices and sauces to mask the off flavor. And
Okay,
don't
yeah.
be afraid to experiment with different flavors and ingredients.
I was going to say something kind of similar. I was going to say you can make actual hamburgers with that very easily. All you need to do is like as long as you thaw it out fully, throw it make it into a ball, or you can go ahead and make it into individual hamburger-sized balls. Put those into a bowl. Cover it with Worcestershire soy sauce and maybe maybe a little like olive oil, salt, vinegar, something like that. Pull that stuff in there. Let it marinate in the fridge for like an hour or so. And we take that out. If you really want to take out some like the other flavor, take some cheese, open those things up, like put a little like some cheese curds right in the middle of it. Roll that back up. Let them sit for a little bit longer, and then once you're ready for once you got your skillet nice and hot and everything. I mean, you want your skillet to be hot, ready to cook it real fast. Take those things, slap them on there, do a smash burger on it. But smash it slowly. Don't smash it fast, so the cheese is all pop out. But the cheese should start melting before you actually smash it. Once you smash it down, the cheese will kind of like spread throughout it, and then flip it. You're looking at 2 minutes maybe each side, depending on how well it's thawed. And then just give it a taste. And I promise you, like I mean, you'll have. I would also recommend like maybe a little garlic salt and you know a little garlic salt, a little. If you like pepper, then use pepper. But I don't usually. I'm kind of allergic to black pepper, so I don't use it. But I like white pepper though. White pepper is very very good in a hamburger patty. So so yeah, I mean I've done that myself many times. I've taken freezer burned steaks and made them taste like restaurant steaks before. So like it's really just a matter of like thawing it out and putting it in the right kind of marinade for long enough, and like you can get rid of that taste really easily. But yeah, if you want something really easy, sloppy joes, that's the simplest thing. Just throw it in a pan, brown it in a can, get a can of whatever kind of sauce you like to make sloppy joes with, and mix it up, and like it doesn't really matter anymore. I mean, I'm not a big sloppy joe fan, really.
Oh,
But,
I love sloppies.
I mean, they're not bad. I
Yes.
mean, I'll eat them. I'll eat them, but like I just love making burgers. Though burgers are just fun to make for me.
Yeah, burgers are good
I
too.
enjoy it.
I can both.
I've done the whole like you were talking about making bread, Lib. I did the whole like I made my own buns thing. I use
Oh
Jonathan
gosh, yeah.
I use Jonathan Weissman's recipe for making hamburger buns, and
Mhm.
I did it 2 or 3 times. I can't the last time I finally got them to come out the right size and everything like that. It was kind of a trial and error type thing, even when following the instructions exactly. But once I finally got the feel of it, and then but as soon as I did it and I got it down, like I never kind of wanted to do it again. I was like, I proved myself I can do it, and I moved on.
Yeah.
I'll just buy regular buns in the future. Right?
Yeah.
You can
'Cause
get
it
those.
is-
You can
it is
get
quite a-
you can get those really delicious. You can get those. What's that? King's Hawaiian makes a pretzel bun now, a pretzel hamburger bun. You can get
Mm.
at the store, and like they're just like they're not even like there's like it's like a $2 bag of like 6 really good like salted top pretzel buns, and like they will make better burger buns than
What's the screen
than,
protector?
than anything I could make at home. I mean, the ones I made at home, they were good. They tasted great, but they were a lot of trouble. I mean, it took me each time. That was like all day. That was my whole day. So, wear a bib in case a lib makes you drool. Well,
Probably not. Oh gosh.
What's the screen protector?
I mean, I assume it's something to protect his screen.
on
Like
his phone,
phone
probably.
screen.
Like
Yeah.
computer
phone screen, yeah.
or-
Probably phone.
Phone screen, yeah. I used to every time I used to get a phone back whenever I was still working and I had money and stuff. I always every time I got a new phone, I bought one of those fancy screen protectors that you have to like basically perform like a small science experiment to do, where you have to like set it up in this
Well,
thing.
I mean, you just need
and, like-
to. I mean, you don't need to do all that, but you just need to make sure that you're not gonna you're gonna get it completely clean and dust free, because any dust between that and the screen
Yeah.
protector.
No, but I mean, have you got one of those? I think I can't remember. I can't remember like the company that makes them. It's called like Whitestone or something like that. I can't remember, but
There's a
they
bunch
make
of different kinds.
they make those tempered glass protectors, but like their
Mhm.
whole system for doing it is very complicated, because
Hmm.
it's like you have to like set the phone up underneath that, clean it really good, and then you set the actual glass thing on this little thing that is like it's set like basically to specifically, so you drop the glue in like in 1, 2, 3 spots, and so the spots are there, and then you pull this thing out and it drops the glass directly on it, and and you wait until like the glue spreads all throughout underneath it, and then you put a UV lamp on top of that, and the UV lamp like hardens it, and then it doesn't give you any like the touch problems you get with most tempered glass screen protectors, and like they really do work well. I mean, like they will protect the fuck out of your screen.
Yeah.
I mean, like they're very hard to break, and if they do break, then they won't like rip your rest of your screen off if you have to take it off. So yeah. Anyway,
Interesting.
I have
not quite that much. Do I like screen protectors? I don't like them that much, but
I don't like them, but if you have nowadays I just buy cheap phones. I was like, this phone was free with my Metro PCS subscription, and it works great. I have no issues with it. I have no desire to go get a really expensive phone, but for a while I was on T-Mobile, and like so I was getting like the newest Galaxy model or whatever like that. And like the if you actually drop it and crack that screen, like those things will it'll fucking bankrupt you. Just get the replacement, like you're already paying you're already paying out the ass to get the phone, and then like your replacement's like half the price of that. So it was worth the extra $50 for like the screen protector that would actually protect the screen. because like the plastic ones don't do shit really. They'll protect from scratches, but they won't protect it from actual like cracking the LCD or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. So MoOse, you said you're coming up as soon as you got the you got your screen protector on. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, no, I think I understand what you mean, kind of, in the sense that I do see how like you could say that some of that stuff you could classify as not necessarily being woke. Some of it definitely comes across that way, even if it's not
It's the
intended that
same
way.
people that, like the ones that programmed it to
Well,
not
yeah,
show white people
but
in the name of woke ideology are the same ones programmed to do all this other stuff.
I have a
So
feeling
it's the
that regardless,
individual. The thing itself is not woke or unwoke. It's
I
the
feel like regardless
individuals
of whether or not they
programming
would,
it that are woke.
I feel like regardless of whether or not the people who had programmed it were woke or not, they probably would have put restrictions similar as to like
They didn't have
what
before.
it can show. What do you mean it didn't have them before?
Bard didn't have
AI?
it. Bard.
Yeah, well, Bard. No,
We're
Bard
talking
still.
specifically about Google Gemini because that's the company that's doing this, not AI in general.
Sure,
We're talking about
but then
in
the
this
people who
case, the
took-
team,
yeah.
the woke team at Google that has this filter, and you would be
Mhm.
reacting the same way. Like, I don't trust you on this issue because you're trying to normalize something that a lot of people have a legitimate, honest reaction to, and kind of gaslight and make it seem like, why are you reacting like this? What's the problem? Well, you know damn well if it was a bunch of Christian Republicans in charge of the filter, you would be the one having this reaction right now. So there's something about how you're approaching this issue that I just don't trust.
Well, so part of this would be because if it was, let's begin this, because if it was a bunch of Christian Republicans, they would be like doing things that would like actively be in an attempt
Like
to
not
harm
show
people.
queer books or not show LGBT material or something.
I mean,
Or if like a kid asks like what
I have to be
dildos or
perfectly honest.
what do you call those things? Packers can I buy for myself?
I
wanna
have to
start
be
searching-
honest. I
and
feel like
it says I
they're-
can't tell you this because it could be potentially harmful and I don't want to spread corruption in society.
Let's true. Let's think of like the most like the thing that let's think of something that that we could ask the AI that would fall under those categories, like under like the umbrella of things that like the right wing would be upset about, things that it would be upset about it producing, right? Let's think about something like that. Like, I mean, like let's ask if it can recommend a good butt plug or something like that, and let's see if that if it
can recommend a good butt plug.
a good butt plug.
Yeah, just or something dumb like that. I'm just saying like something that like a
let's see if
conservative
it's-
would be horrified by. So let's see.
It's gonna say no because it doesn't
if
want to be responsible for the. I'm
if
unable to
it says no, then
recommend
it's
any sex toys,
No, okay.
including
okay.
butt
So
plugs.
see, then it's even on both sides.
So
And it's
wow,
not.
so yeah,
It's
so
not.
they're
It's not
even-
just.
they're
It's
And
not
even
just.
be aware of
consistent.
the potential risk: infection,
Yeah.
tearing or injury, incomplete bowel movement.
Have you not seen all of those warnings on any sex toys you've bought?
I don't buy sex toys.
Okay, well, I have bought
I have
sex
no
toys,
sex toy.
and
I-
yes,
I looked at- I don't know
they
what's
do
on the
come
box.
they do come with warnings.
Okay.
Because that's what products come with now. It's good actually.
Products have been coming with warnings before I've even been alive.
Yeah,
So
no,
you
I
have
know.
to, like act like you're educating us about something. That's that condescension that
I
people.
mean, I'm just pointing out.
unattractive.
I'm just pointing out that
And I
like
say Lib does it too. This is an example.
I
mean, I'm just-
I don't hear him being condescending in this case.
it's
I
not being
think that
condescending. I'm just pointing out how like you're like, oh yeah.
Well, we know you don't think we
of
know that
course.
things come with warning labels. Come on.
Well, that's why I'm pointing out that like you're scoffing at Gemini putting a warning label on their thing, and I'm like, well, but sex toys themselves come with warning labels. So
No, I'm not scoffing at. I didn't say. Okay, let's just stop this conversation because you're hearing all kind of stuff that I didn't even say. I didn't say anything about his warnings at all. All I did was ask it the question Chris asked me to, and I gave the answer. I don't have an opinion about it's educating. It's in addition to saying it can't recommend, it's also telling you these risks to keep in mind. And I was sharing that in the name of education. I didn't make any comment about that I had a problem with that part of it.
okay,
So
I'm
whatever
sorry.
you're hearing
Maybe
me say about that,
I
I
would-
didn't say anything in criticism of that part.
It wasn't just what I was hearing. I was also what maybe I misread something. I misread something. I'm sorry. I misread something significantly.
Okay.
It's okay. I don't think I think we
Yeah,
were
he's a
all just
woke scope.
mean
He definitely has a woke scope in him. Let's say that peaks out when it
Scolding?
shines opportunity.
I know. I don't think that's what the intention. But we did just prove, though. We did just prove pretty definitively that it,
Really?
even though yes, it definitely has like
Sure,
a
yeah.
nanny state. It has a nanny-ish kind of bias on it.
Yeah, it does.
However, it is not right or left particularly leaning. Like if we could ask it about like.
Well, you're
No,
taking that conclusion from the 2 or 3 questions that we've
Yeah.
asked.
No,
I would need more.
I'm willing to admit that it's probably has more of a left-leaning bias than a right-leaning bias. I would admit that. I just would need to be shown how
Well,
damaging
they
it is.
had to pull their
Yeah.
image filter because it was so left wing.
Which is I don't know if
I
it's
think
left
because it was
wingers.
so. I don't think
it's just so wrong.
So you're
did
gonna tell
not
me that
feel
it's
like
not
it was
it's
left-wing.
not for woke reasons that it's not showing white people.
Yeah, I think that
No,
is.
That's
I
the
mean,
gaslighting I'm talking about.
No, I'm not talking about. Okay, all right. I don't think that their filter was done for left-wing reasons. I think their filter was done for PR reasons.
It was done for DEI reasons.
Sure, but not because it's done by people who are doing this in order to promote diversity, equity, and inclusion. It was done by people who are paid to make sure that Google's properties don't get a bad rap.
Okay, even if that's the case, they're adopting the agenda and ethos of DEI to accomplish it. So if that's like their secret sociopath motive in the back of their brain, they're still doing it under the guise of DEI. And so like we don't know how many are sincerely believe they're saving the world by doing this and how many are just cynically doing it for PR management. But the point is it's DEI that's the vehicle for whatever their motive is that they're doing it through.
Sure. And do you think they might have any valid concerns over potentially PR nightmares when it comes to generative AI?
Unrealistic, superstitious concerns about race and racism that like the woke in general where they magnify the threat of it and see it everywhere in places normal people don't.
Are you aware of previous iterations of generative AI?
No, why don't you?
I'm asking you a question. All right. So I'm gonna. I mean,
OpenAI. Google had Bard because I used to use Bard all the time. It's like I'd use Bard on the stream constantly. We would have conversations with it. So I'm interested to hear about these other AI models before Gemini came along.
Yeah, here we go.
There are a ton. It
was Microsoft.
Researching.
It was the Microsoft.
Yeah,
one,
the Bing one. Yeah, the Bing AI. Yeah, I know. I've been the Copilot. Yeah, I've used it a lot.
Yeah, I'm
I've used it a lot.
It's old, but
and then there's separate image ones in addition to that, like Midjourney and DALL-E.
Sure. So Tay, which was an AI chatbot,
that turned into a Nazi within a day.
2017. Yeah, it turned into a Nazi within a day.
Yep.
I think that companies like Google, when they release these sort of generative AI, do have valid concerns when it comes to like the kinds of content that will be generated off of it. I think they have genuine concerns.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean they have valid concerns.
Yeah. I mean, given the fact that it happened, I think it's perfectly valid.
Yeah, no, I mean,
have you guys heard?
Hey, MoOse, I've never been so glad to see you in my life. Welcome.
What's going on, guys? Have you guys heard about Alibaba's new AI program called EMO?
Is that marketplace?
Is that a joke or is that for real?
No, it's for real. It is a market. Alibaba is a marketplace.
Yeah, I know Ali.
But they just came out with this. No, it's not the marketplace. It's an actual AI program.
Yeah.
And if you look it up, you can't play it here because it's a lot of copyright infringement content. But you take a picture, right? And you send it a picture, and then you have it play a song. and it will show you singing the song. It will show your face moving. It will show the emotions in your face. Like it looks
Yeah,
insane.
Is there a
it's
link to that?
pretty.
What's it called? Alibaba
EMO system
EMO.
employs an AI technique known as a diffusion model, which has shown tremendous ability for generating realistic synthetic imagery. God.
I just think it's
Yeah.
funny. It's called emo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny, but I just saw like three different of the
Oh
big
no.
AI guys. They all came out with a video today on it, and it's so
Yeah.
like real that soon enough we're not going to be able to tell if you know Jeff and Chris are real.
That's gonna be fun because then we can really get our game going.
Mm-hmm. It'll be really fun.
Take care, Frank. We'll see you in the Discord later.
Panel Survivor. Think about Panel
If you
Survivor
survive,
with a
if you
couple
survive.
fakes.
Yeah, like which contestants are real? Like that, like only some of the contestants will be real, or like some of them won't be real. It'd be kind of like the mole, but with actual fake people that you have to figure out who the real people are.
Yeah, we could do a thing like that where like it's basically a Turing test game where like I feel like it'd be pretty for the most part. I'm not confident that it would be that difficult to figure out what the AIs were, but I could be wrong. It might be quite difficult. It might be. I don't know how we would do them on a panel sense though, like because like there would be like because we'd have to like have the voice and everything. Like I mean, it has to be completely generated from scratch unless we were just literally had people behind it using AI masking, and then that's not like figuring out who's an AI. It's just figuring out who's using an AI mask on their voice, and that's usually pretty easy to tell. So I don't see that happening yet. Like at least it might be maybe
I'm telling you, by the end, we are
by the end
so,
of the week,
the
maybe. Yeah, maybe the end of the
acceleration
week.
curve is so fast right now. Like if you can envision it, it will be here by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
think
kind of it.
about the singers that really can't
Oh, that
sing.
show where
Chuck,
they
for
had
the
fake
for the love of
avatars.
God, Chuck, can you stop pointing that gun at me?
Oh, yes,
Come
I
on,
can.
man.
Here, this is-
Firearm safety, man.
Here,
Come on.
this is not really a safe space, but I'll.
Come on. You're giving a bad name to us Tennesseans, all right? We know guns.
There we go. Is that better?
That's much better. Always
The
treat a
flag
gun
of glory.
loaded.
I'm just shooting blood.
I actually do love the Tennessee
You
flag.
prefer Trump to a gun? You would pick Trump over a gun?
Well,
I'm
Trump
trying to-
won't kill you. A gun will.
Exactly. That's why I'd rather be defended by a gun than Trump.
Their level of hatred for Trump and their level of hatred for guns to see which one.
So in your opinion, your opinion, it's not that you don't take the stance that guns don't kill people kill people. You think that people don't kill people, but guns do.
Me? I think people
No, Chuck. It's
What
very.
the I'm so confused.
Oh, I know.
You said Chuck won't kill you. You said Chuck won't kill you, but guns will. And I was like, so you're
Trump won't,
taking
Trump
the
won't kill you,
opposite
but
NRA
guns will.
stance of like the. Yeah, it's a joke.
No,
I didn't think it was here.
They've been using AI with these records.
Oh, with like
to put all these, to put them right when they're recording, they change their voice so that it's pitch perfect.
Oh yeah, I mean we've been using auto.
They've been doing that
even I've used it.
forever.
Auto-tune's been around. Auto-tune's been around since the '80s. It's been around since the '80s,
Right,
and I mean it's still gotten better. But
like it doesn't
auto-tune is a form of AI, though.
Not
well,
really.
yeah,
well, AI is not even really AI.
The current form of auto-tune, the most recent update that I used, did have maybe a very basic pattern recognition type AI type thing in it. So it could auto adjust, but honestly, it's not very good at auto adjusting your pitch and stuff like that. Unless you can kind of get it to kind of create a baseline to kind of fix it kind of broadly, but then you have to go in and manually adjust the actual pitch modulation if you don't want to sound like a freaking robot, because it'll make you go like remember like the very first song that ever used that like on purpose was that Cher song. Remember, "Do You Believe in Life After Love," that song? And they did that weird, like they did the auto tune pitch shifting thing on it intentionally. It's like the first time that anyone they've been using auto tune for years and years and years, but it was the first time it was used like in a blatant, obvious way to make it sound more computerized or more futuristic, and like that was a big like. That was when people became aware of auto-tune, and I've used it myself. I even used it on one of my tracks on SoundCloud. I used it just fucking around with it, just see if I could use it, if I could teach myself to use it. And I mean, I don't really like the effect of it that much myself, but it is an interesting tool, but it's not quite there. Although I'm sure, what's it? I think Isotope, if I'm not mistaken, Isotope has an AI editing audio fixing thing that will go through your track and actually clean up like the audio and stuff with an AI engine that is actually getting more and more advanced. I haven't used it in a while though, because I've been kind of out of that game for like 2 or 3 years. But the last time I was using it, it was getting so I'm sure by now almost all those DAWs and everything are probably integrating AI into a much more fine-tooth degree. But it hasn't been like AI making like everybody sound perfect or anything for a while. If that's that day is coming. But I could make, but pretty much with AI already, without too much work, you could use autotune and make someone who can't sing sound like they could basically sing. You know, like Britney Spears is notorious for not being a very good singer, and like she was heavily
That's true.
autotuned. So like,
Millie
Um,
Vanilli.
Since we're on this
Millie Vanilli was
AI
just,
kick,
that wasn't AI. That was just different people. They just took different people that could sing and had them lip sync over
they
over their
lip
things.
sync.
That wasn't AI at all.
That's just classic. That's just a
That was just a
classic
bait and switch.
charade. Yeah,
Yeah,
bait
it
and
was
switch. So
yeah.
since we're on the AI kick, I want to talk about which jobs you guys think are going to absolutely get smashed on, and which jobs are actually going to be there after the AI.
Um,
Because I have some
I
ideas.
I was just talking about this earlier. I guess you hadn't gotten here yet. I was saying that I don't think that creativity to based jobs like writers, like for example, people that are actually writing and actually creating things, I don't
I
see it like I don't.
disagree
Well,
because
I'm going to tell you why.
I got a news feed app on my phone that's mainstream, and every one of the articles, when you get to the bottom, 90% of the article was generated by AI.
Yeah. And okay, but that's not really, that's if it's news reporting, that doesn't necessarily need to be creative. I'm talking about trying to actually create stories and I'm trying to work on this game thing. I'm trying to create rule sets and stuff like that. I did try at first to get to ask Gemini to try to like to come up with some sample type, like some ideas for me, and almost all the ideas it came up with were just not at all. They were literally, it was just like, you know, pulling stuff from other RPGs. It wasn't coming up with anything original, and that's fine. It's nothing wrong with that. But like whenever I went through and I detailed my own original concepts and ideas into it. What it does really well is it will take your long rambling sentences and paragraphs and take that and organize it into a fairly easily to read like panel, a very easy like list type thing with bullet points, and section it out and put the sections out, and it actually understands like what it is that you're creating a game. So it's like creating, like, you know, this is what you do in round one and that sort of thing. Even though I explained it all, but it's formatting it for me. So what I do see AI being an industry, I see it really smashing is things like basic editors, like basic first and second pass editors. Like there'll still be somebody at like a higher level of editing for like, you know, novel and screenwriters type things that'll still be there. But like a lot of the people that do like those first pass kind of things, like on scripts and manuscripts, stuff like that's going to go away, because like that can be handled by AI easier. And like secretary type work, like you can literally like just like dictate like what your thoughts are into the phone. You can dictate into the phone, and it will take everything you say and make it into an easy to read list. And it'll help a lot with paralegals, for example, people that just do like the basic jobs of filling out legal forms and stuff like that. I used it for that not that long ago. I had no idea, like they were asking me to write this document as like a witness statement, like within the certain format that I didn't understand at all, for the Social Security hearing thing, and I asked it to like if it could help me with this, and like it generated like the whole like the list of the rules that we need to do, and then it generated a sample that I could use, and I used that to base like what I wrote. Then I wrote the whole thing, but it gave me the template I needed to understand like what it needed to look like, right? So, and that's the hardest thing to do when it comes to like, you know, understanding a lot of legal stuff and everything. If you want to file your own papers for this or that, understanding the actual format is like 90% of it, because if you don't on the right format and you're not using the right even font size and whatever, you know, like they can reject you just based on that, right? So like it's gonna replace a lot of menial type like formatting and jobs that are just kind of like this like kind of weird knowledge that's kind of kept that's kind of been kind of kept to like, you know, like people kind of keep it like to themselves, so like so other people don't like,
Technical
you know,
jargon.
yeah, technical jargon type jobs. I mean, I could definitely see like people, technical writers, people that come up with like are just writing like instruction manuals for things. That would be extremely easy to pass off into an AI, because like an AI, as long as you give an AI like an access to the program itself, and like and let the AI like run it and see how it works, the AI should be able to print out a fairly easy to read explanation of how to use that program. And I think that that's a job that will probably, you know, probably will start to get taken over by it. There's a lot of things like that and like, and
I don't
honestly, and
think that
However,
musicians and
how do
live.
you
Go
keep
ahead.
AI from giving your information to somebody else that's looking for the same thing?
What you
what do you
mean?
mean my information?
Let's say I'm a lawyer and I'm in a
Hmm.
case
Okay.
and I got an ace in my sleeve, and someone else is working on a case somewhere else in the world, and they come across AI, says, "Oh, here, I got this answer for you."
How would the AI have your case information though?
If it came
Well,
up
you'd
if it
almost
came up with an answer for you, but I wasn't talking about it like coming with arguments for like trials. I was talking about like just talking about for helping you to understand how to fill out forms, and to
oh,
some
okay.
degree filling them out for you. I'm talking about like that's a lot of what lawyers do. A lot of lawyers work is basically like they know how to draft a letter to a, like if you have like a lawsuit type thing, right? Like one of the main things they do, the first thing they do is they draft a letter on like their legal letterhead and stuff, and they send that to that, you know, who it is, like as like a cease and desist type thing, right? They draft that and send, and that's what you're paying them to do. You're paying them to draft a letter on like the company letterhead and send a very official looking note to who you're trying to get to cease and desist from something. You could have AI generate that cease and desist for you in the same way, and it would be just as legally they'd be just as legally responsible to answer it
Okay.
as they would if it came from a lawyer. But we do it through a lawyer because we don't understand like the legalese and the jargon that you need to use in order for like someone to take you seriously. So it can take care of that. But like it's not like I don't think that, I mean, like there was that guy that was trying to use AI to generate arguments and stuff like that for court cases, and he failed miserably because it did not understand at all. It was still pulling stuff. I mean, there are certain things that are going to require human ingenuity input, and the AI might help us improve those things and improve the way we present them to the world. And I'm not saying that the day will never come whenever it won't be able to generate those things, but right now it's not there yet.
Moose,
But
I
it's
cut you
coming.
off.
Like
I'm
I'm telling you,
sorry.
like that horizon is closer than you think.
Maybe it is. I might be
No,
wrong.
I can
Yeah.
only
I
hear
fully
you.
admit,
So
I
whatever
fully admit
you're
I might be wrong.
thinking is down the road, just move it up
Hmm.
a few miles and prepare for
Yeah.
it, like right over
It's
the.
and it's exactly like it's like you're standing on train tracks, right? And you can feel the train a coming.
Mm.
It's a coming around the bend.
It's rolling around the
And
bend.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it's going to smash and boo, 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 boo,
There we go. Now I can hear
everything.
you guys again. For some
rolling
reason, I
There
can
around the
only
you
hear
bend.
go.
Chuck.
Are you
Huh.
driving, or are you already made it where you were going?
No, I'm still packing. We leave tomorrow morning.
Oh, okay.
Just don't shoot a man in Reno to watch him die.
But
Well,
I think that
Moose, warning, gas prices are up, bud.
Oh yeah.
whatever. You know what?
They're not bad here.
Really? They went up. They went up by like they went up about by 60 cents in the last few days here in Texas. So
It's up,
Yeah.
it's down, it's all around. The whole world is going crazy. But you know what? Whether I have $100 in my pocket or I got $5 in my pocket, I'll make it through.
There you go.
Good
So
attitude,
what was
man.
your point,
I like
Moose?
to hear it.
I cut you off a while ago.
Oh, my point was, I think a lot of people are like Chris was saying, creative direction. I think that's where it's at. Like, people are still gonna want to watch live music. There's no way in hell that you can convince me that a robot, sitting at home watching a Britney Spears concert is gonna be the same as going and seeing her live and feeling the energy of the crowd and having all the vendors there and
Well, hell yeah,
all
that'd be way
the
better because
stuff.
you don't have to be there with amongst all those stupid Britney Spears fans.
I
But
personally would rather watch her from a living room.
no, but for most music, yeah, absolutely. Especially if it's a band actually playing the music, Like, I mean,
Yeah.
there is a reason.
There's going to be. I think what's going to happen is AI is going to help us see the things that we're better at as humans, and we're going to eventually let the machines do the machine task. That's going to free us up to do the things that only humans can do, and we're going to like kind of understand better what the value of being human is.
Yeah, things that
what
only
what
humans
it
can
means
do,
to be human,
like be
because
a
we're going to have
Walmart
the machine
cashier.
part
Yeah,
separated out from us by this AI.
Jeff, I
jobs
wanted to say,
like
I
being a
don't
Walmart
creative,
cashier. Yeah,
anything that takes
absolutely.
judgment, wisdom, experience, understanding, all of that, I think we're still going to need humans for. We're going to get better at the human stuff.
And just for the record, Jeff, I don't think
cops.
I don't think you were out of line the other night.
Huh?
Is RoboCop?
Oh,
I was trying to tell Jeff.
Jeff from the other night, whenever like he was.
Oh, yeah. You know how I know that? Because that other guy that came on after that, he was the same way with. So there's some going on with him. Just like
it's that time of the month.
If you notice that when the people start having like things start breaking down, it's never just with one person. Like it's suddenly breaking down with a lot of people around them, and I noticed that with him too. And
he gets short with me.
One of those people now because I'm on the receiving end of their I don't know, they get like in this deep hypersensitive state or something, and they start reacting in ways that actually it's not that unusual for him because it's happened before. But anyway, thank you, Truck. Yeah, I appreciate it.
I understood.
Once I went back and watched the video and saw him with that other guy, I knew it wasn't me. Like I walked into something that was going on with him.
Right. I understood where you were coming from because I have an autistic son. So
and I, because in the work I do, and not even with autism, but mental health too, it's very hard to get people that think they're professionals because they have a clinical background or degree.
Yep.
To get the actual voice of the patient heard, the autistic person themselves, the mental health person themselves, or even a peer, because a lot of things that peers struggle with is when working with clients is to get the clinical team to listen to the peer perspective that's emerging out of our work with the client. And so to be told that my attempt to advocate against what this lady was saying about autism was being petty and self-indulgent, that's the kind of stuff that we do all the time. And to run into it there, where the clinical person gets to speak, but the autistic person, their attempt to challenge what that person is saying is stigmatized negatively as petty, insignificant, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, by using the simple layman terms that everybody understands instead of
like I didn't have a voice to speak against what she was saying because every time I tried to, it got portrayed a certain way.
Yeah, because I remember when my son got expelled from kindergarten and he got expelled from first grade because they did not understand.
Wow, that early?
Yeah.
Actually,
that's when it emerged and we realized there was a problem. And you talking about this is straight up truth here. I'm an old fashioned guy. And
no, you're just old, Chuck. You're just old.
I used to whip my son.
I don't know.
I used to whip my son.
Yeah, no.
Like a normal kid.
Yeah.
And then after I found out what was really going on, I was so sick to my stomach It was
Yeah, I understand
awful.
that.
It was awful. I
I
cried,
bet.
and I mean, I'm about to tear up now. I cried
I bet, man.
because after I found that out, he didn't deserve anything that he got because
Yeah.
he wasn't in our world. He was in his world.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
That happens a
he did
lot.
not he didn't understand. It's the yeah, it's the same thing like you get with like I
That's what I
understand.
was saying to that
Yeah.
lady. Is the way that they're interpreting what they see is not how it is with us internally, and it until you try to understand, like it looks like one thing, but until you try to understand what it really is,
Exactly.
I would be very cautious in the approach I take and how I describe it. Like
Damn.
she was
And
using very dramatic negative language,
Yeah,
which that
that
happens all the time, and that's the kind of stuff we try to push back against. And when
that
I was
hit me to
doing
the
that,
core
I was the
too.
one that was suddenly the troublemaker.
Chuck, I don't
That hit.
think that you're a bad person by any means, brother. I think that also you can extrapolate that to normal children. I don't think normal children know what's going on when you beat the shit out of them. I
Oh no,
really
no,
don't.
I
He,
didn't
di- he
beat
did,
the
I don't
shit
think he
out of
beat the
him.
shit out of him.
No,
He just
No,
spanked
you
him. He
no.
just
whipped
spanked
him.
him.
Yeah, yeah.
He just spanked
Look,
him.
Yeah,
Like
spanking,
that's not.
spanking is like
a
I'm not saying
tampon.
spanking is good. Yeah, I'm not saying spanking
I
is like
wasn't
good,
good for
but
discipline as
I was
far as
embellishing on
spanking.
that
Look,
to make you laugh. That
I
was me
I,
getting
I
your
Okay.
have
attention.
I have seen myself though. I've seen myself with my own children. Like Clover, like she wasn't. She takes after her dad a lot, and she's ADHD and stuff like that. And and we figured out really early on that that spanking was just not an effective punishment at all. And so and it didn't it she didn't even seem all that upset by it, to be honest, and
And
it didn't make any. It's like
there's a
certain kids.
difference between spanking and beat the hell out of. You're
yeah,
right.
no,
Oh yeah,
there is.
I know
There is.
that. I mean, and like we never spanked her very hard either. It was pretty light in the first place. But I'm not the kind of person that I can't just like I can't get the belt out kind of thing. But I
In
have
fact,
seen
I
I have.
almost got arrested in Kmart because a guy was whipping the shit out of his kid.
Oh, I hate that.
And I intervened because he wasn't spanking the kid, he was
He
beating
was
the
beating
hell
him.
out of
Yeah.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
no,
the
that
same.
Yeah, and I
makes
intervened. I said, "That's
makes me sick.
bullshit."
Makes me sick.
Chuck,
Yeah,
I have
I
two
agree.
questions. What were some of the things that were showing up in kindergarten, first grade, and what kind of like discipline method did you switch to once you realized the spanking was not the approach that was going to work? What did
Well,
end up working?
the issues at first everything would go along good, but then as you know how young children start uh, talking and how a class can get active, it
Oh yeah.
turned out it was the noise. His hearing is super sensitive, so to him it was pain. It was causing him pain,
Mhm.
and he didn't know how to express it at school. Their
Right.
solution was he's a problem child. We don't want to deal with it, so take him home. Now at home, what after going to uh, taking classes and going to therapists and whatnot, I learned that when a flare up happens, you give them a little bit of time to cool down, and you go in and you approach it softly and try to talk through it so that they can understand what was inappropriate or what was appropriate for the situation. And it's still that way today. If we go into a restaurant that's full of people, he's got to wear earmuffs.
Mhm.
And then
Right.
then after he's done eating, you can tell pretty quick. You can just see it in his face, the change. And I'll take him out to the car while everybody else finishes up.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I hear it, man. I hear you, man. I understand that entirely. It's one of those things like that's one of those things that I think that a lot of people in schools and stuff like they don't they really do not Public schools are. I'm not against public schools. Okay, I'm not against them in general as an idea. I think that they're at this point though they're kind of overrun. There's too many kids in like there's too many kids per school. Like they don't have
Yep.
enough teachers. They need smaller classes and more individual attention. That's the reason why I was homeschooled, and that's the reason why my sisters were homeschooled, and it's the reason why. And like we all have the choice of going to public school when we got to like 12, 13. I chose to, and we all chose to stay homeschooled. But
The only problem
we all
with
graduated early.
homeschooling is the social interaction aspect.
Yeah, but
Is
it's
the
you
only
can get
problem with
that. There's more
homeschooling.
opportunities for that now.
Yeah.
It's
I
less
had
administrative.
homeschool group and church both, and I had as much social, and I had a group of friends too that I hung out with all the time. So I never really had that issue. I had tons of social interaction. So I didn't have it on that mass scale like you get in a high school, but I definitely had lots of social interaction. It can
Okay.
be there's ways to mitigate that totally. And it doesn't work for every kid. I'm not saying that. I think public school is a good idea for some kids, and I think it's a bad idea for other kids. Especially I would never apply any blanket solution to any child. Like every child is different, and they're all going to have different needs and different
Exactly.
and different. They're going to learn in different curves. Like Clover, she like whenever like for me example like I could read and talk in full sentences whenever I was 2 according to my parents, like and like it was very used to freak people out because I still looked like a baby, but I could talk in full sentences. I don't remember any of that. That's just what my parents tell me. But my daughter on the other hand, like she was like almost 4 by the time. Now she could speak fine, but she had no interest in reading until she got to about like 3.5 or so like that. But as soon as she decided she wanted to read, she learned to read like within a couple of weeks. It was like she could suddenly read. And like it's just like there's different like, but if we had her in like public type school type scenarios or something like that, they would have said she was behind and she needed to go to they needed to put her in like a slower class or something like that, and like that wasn't necessary. She just wasn't ready yet. She hadn't seen a advantage for her to read yet. It just didn't interest her because she's ADHD like me, and so like I was interested in reading, therefore I read very quickly. And as soon as she was ready for it, she learned to read very quickly. And like it's just like every kid's going to be a little different, and
Yep.
you can't view them all as a monolith, just like you can't with any group in society. It's like that we have this terrible habit of treating any group, no matter if it's children or people of a certain
lockstep.
pertinent people of certain classes or races or whatever, and we want to put them all into a category and say like they all need this, and it's just stupid. It's just not how people work. I mean, a kid could be raised in a one parent household and have all the disadvantages in the world and be an absolute genius and and just like and excel in everything in school. It just in the same way a kid that's raised in a high class family with like then their parents are all professors and everything could be mentally handicapped to some degree or have autism in some way.
Yep.
And like and neither one of those things it means there's necessarily anything wrong with a child. It just means that you have to teach them differently, and you have to adapt to like what they need. And it's just a bad situation. I think that this is not a political thing either in my opinion. This isn't because the schools are too woke. This isn't because the schools are too this or that. This is just the fact that the schools we have so much burden on the public school system.
And not enough resources.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, go ahead.
The ability to individualize education is a very rare skill. I don't think there's enough competent teachers that know how to provide that for the amount of kids that actually need that. So there's a huge labor or like skill shortage in that area.
And
the ones that are amenable to just like a generic program of education are fine, but it's the ones that are not and those numbers seem to be increasing more and more. And the ability, the amount of people that know how to teach to that population very short.
And that is one thing that I will say, and I don't mean this is gonna, I know this is gonna be taken the wrong way, but this is one reason why we do have there are issues in places like in southern places in Texas and stuff. There's large amounts of immigration that also creates issues where like there's large amounts of kids that don't understand English and like they don't hear it at home and stuff like that, and so like they have to try to somehow like try to teach. They have to teach these kids in two different languages and like stuff like that, and it creates separations and stuff like that. And I'm not sure what the solution for that is. I'm not saying this isn't like anti-immigration, but I'm saying like that we're not addressing the issues that come along with that immigration in ways that actually help the children out. You know what I mean?
And how much is the
Yep.
school actually responsible for? Like, are they responsible for just setting up the infrastructure to provide the education, or are solving all of the social issues and factors of the kids before they even enter or is that part of their
I'm with
responsibility?
George Carlin. I think that schools are meant to create obedient servants, people who are going to serve the upper class. They teach you,
Not,
you
not
get
when
your
I went
2
to
break.
school.
Well, hold on, Chuck.
I don't know. I think the upper
They give you
class
your
would.
15-minute break. They give you your 30-minute break. They give you your 15-minute break. Then you look into the workforce, right? Most jobs give you a 10 to 15-minute break. They give you a 30-minute lunch, and dude, it's an archaic system that we've been using forever because they
How
say,
would
oh,
you
it
do it?
works.
Or how have you done it with your employees?
Me, when at the hotel, it was worked much differently. Like we would hustle when we had to hustle, and we would take breathers and take your lunch, as long as you need to do it. But
Yeah.
it's a totally different environment because the hotel, you only have to clean the rooms during a certain amount of time. So the hustle hour is like between noon and 3, when
Right.
people
Yeah.
check out, when people check in. But before that, there's like laundry to do and stuff like that, and it's no big deal. It's not like you're hustling ass on that. And I don't know. I believe in more. It's a more freelance approach. It's more what you need. If you need to take a break, Jeff, you take a break. Like you go get yourself a
I
breather.
personally like work better with jobs like that, but I can see where some workplaces might need to be a little more regimented. But
And it
I
bites me
don't.
in the butt too, because I
Huh?
had an employee who would, he'd go take like a 30, 45-minute shit. And it's like, dude, we have stuff to do right now. Like, this is not the time to be taking a 40-minute shit.
Yeah, maybe if that happens
I don't know what
once
to say about that.
because they ate something bad for lunch, it's one thing. But whenever they do it every single day, and it's
Yeah.
habitual,
Yeah.
if someone's taking advantage of
That's
of
the
your
point where I would start building around like something's going on with them that they obviously need this 40 minutes. So if they're gonna be productive every other moment, but for some reason they need this 40 minutes, I would start just building around that need.
if it's a real need, not them taking advantage, you have to talk with
Yeah.
them. You're going to have to talk with
Yeah.
them and,
like
figure out what's going on.
like it could be a real need, even if they're like taking advantage of it. They could be taking advantage for some actual need they have.
It's true. Yeah. No, I mean, I when it in like the theaters I used to manage and stuff like that. Like whenever I built my teams and stuff like that, when I built up the team we had, I mean, it was mostly like high school kids, but we had a few people that were in their 20s and stuff like that. And I was always I mean, we were slow during the daytime, like I told them like, like they were totally allowed to like, to kind of slack off. I mean, like, as long as everything was being kept up with, as long as the work was getting done, I didn't care how they did it or what is, in what order they did it in. I just needed the work to get done, and I communicated that very clearly. And if like the work wasn't getting done, I would talk with them. But like I never like, the only time I ever had to fire somebody in like a sudden way was whenever like a guy like threw a trash can because he was kind of like I mean, it was an odd situation. But I'm just saying like there were certain times where like I had to have like heart to hearts or talks with people and like and talk to them about what's going on. But like I've always had the belief that like as an employer of any kind of job that's kind of like low pay, low, whatever, like I always viewed it from the perspective of like, I'm not expecting you to work this job forever. I want this job is just as a stepping stone for you. I want to try to do everything I can to help you get to where you want to go, and as long as you can handle like the duties that are assigned to you, then I'm happy to help in any way I can to help you achieve what you want to achieve. And
Right.
and and people always, I mean, I've never gotten anything less than respect back from that. And in the few times I did get less than respect back from that, I had to like I did have to let people go from time to time. But I never had to like like instantly fire somebody for like one time. I
I
did
had to
like I'd
get
have
rid of the 45-minute shitter, brother, because that just wasn't working for how little time
Right
we
after
had
the
to get
45.
stuff. And but the way I did it, I went about it a different way because not every person, we're all different animals. Some people are frogs, some people are birds, some people are lions. So everybody has a different something they're good at. Everybody's different. So what I did was I found him another job, another position that would give him housing and everything, and I helped him get that position. So that way he would be a better fit somewhere else. He was still happy with it. It didn't
What
feel like,
was he
oh,
bathroom
he's getting
attendant?
shit canned.
Oh shit!
No, no, he went
yeah.
he went into maintenance for a national park because a national park required a lot less of his attention at all times.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
it was just a better fit for that person. And so it's not about like shit canning someone or making them feel terrible. It's about finding the right role for each
Yeah.
person.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I completely agree with that entirely. That's always been my and I will say that my that strategy for leadership has been nothing but successful. I've had nothing but success in that. Treating people with respect and not treating them like they're lower than you or anything as a manager or something like that. Treating them with the respect that they treat you with, and you're gonna get what you give, to quote the New Radical song, right? We only get what we give. If you put out there the right expectations, and you make your expectations clear. That's the one thing I hate about any job I've ever had. Whenever you take a job and like they tell you to get to work, but they won't make it clear what it is you're supposed to do, and then they'll get
They
mad
would
at you
just
whenever you.
add
That's one
shit
of the
on and
hardest things
on
about
if it's
working for
not clear.
women because the expectations are never clear and they're always changing.
Yes,
Yeah,
it keeps
There's all
changing.
this
yeah.
nonverbal stuff that they change in relation to.
I agree.
Yeah, like that gives me panic attacks. Like whenever I'm at a job and like they're like, well, we want you to do this, and like it's some vague thing, and I'm like, what does that mean? And I try to get more information, like just figure it out. And so like on one hand, like as a creative person, like I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out. And
Right.
I hope they like what I do. But then if I do the thing and they don't like it, then I'm like, well, you wouldn't tell me any
Yeah,
more of
you
that.
didn't
Like you,
specify, right?
yeah, like so like I get really
I
super
just do
anxious
what I
about
want
that.
in that case.
Yeah,
Usually, if
I
they're
mean,
hiring me, it's because I know how to do the thing better than them anyway. So I just go to work. I know what to do.
like one of the jobs I had in Vegas before the financial collapse and everything happened. I worked for this data installation company, and I was just like I did everything, but like my main position was warehouse manager, and I'd never managed a warehouse before. I didn't know what I was supposed to do, but like the warehouse was a mess, so I went there and I literally spent like a week like taking everything, doing inventory. Organizing it all into like easy and then I started and I made a system for filling out service work orders and stuff like that. I made a work order system so people could easily submit them and get their work and get their supplies and go out really quickly. And it worked out pretty well. But like at first I was just like in a state of panic because I was like, I have no idea what I have no idea what they even mean. Do they want me to move this stuff around? What if, because then because at first people were mad because like they were like, well, I don't know where anything
Wow.
is now,
Right,
but
right.
I figured it out and like I get it done, but I'm just like I hate that more than anything. I always try to communicate clearly and directly with the employees what the expectations of them are, what they're expected to do, what they're expected to not do. And I always make it clear that I'm not here, I'm not trying to be your friend or whatever in that sense. I'm not trying to be like the manager friend type thing. But at the same time, I will be your friend. I'll be friendly to you. I'll treat you with the same respect, that and I expect the same respect back. And as long as we do that, then and I gave people promotions. I gave people the raises to the degree I could. I would always reward give incentives and stuff like that. And I really did try to help everybody achieve whatever it is that they were out trying to do. Like if they were high school kids just trying to get a job just for some extra cash money, I made sure that's what we did. And if they were trying to if they saw this as like a stepping stone, like one of the girls, she wanted to be a filmmaker, which is something I wanted to do too. And And so she wanted like she like at least like to come up and watch all the movies and stuff and like that. And I would talk movie stuff with her and give her advice and like let her look over scripts and stuff like that. You know, I would do
Hey,
whatever it
Joe,
took.
what's
You
up?
know.
Welcome, Mr. Joe Cool.
Yeah,
Thanks. How you
welcome,
guys
Joe
doing?
Cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. How you doing?
I guess I've been doing well. I've been having car trouble though. I just got it fixed a couple days ago, and that's been stressing me out. But even through the stress, I've been still enjoying myself and having fun.
I've been having car
Right.
trouble too, man. I know exactly what you feel.
Same, bro.
I have this beater van that like right now, like when you turn it on, if you get past like 30 miles per hour in it, it starts like shaking suddenly. It shakes like you blew a tire. It shakes like you blew a tire. But then I pull over and the tires are fine, and then like so something's very wrong with it, and
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
a
have any money
tough
to
one,
fix it.
right?
So
Yeah,
Ghost
that's a
car.
tough
yeah.
one.
It's haunted. That's what it is.
You sound like
this
you
car.
got a little sniffle going on, Joe.
I do probably because
Yeah,
I've been out
you
there
sound a little hoarse.
under the car or some shit for a while. It turns out that I've been going through a lot of shit because my battery won't hold a charge. And then when it got cold, I just wouldn't do nothing.
Oh,
Every day I go outside, it was dead. And then I got a little break a couple days, and my battery is because it's a Chrysler. It's in the fender. It's not under the hood. You can't pop the hood. It's in the fender. So I had to get
I
under
had a car
there,
like that. I had a car
take
like
the
that.
wheel off, and take the things off
What?
just to see the fucking
Mhm.
battery.
You
It was
take
a
your
I had a-
nightmare.
wheel off?
And
I
the
had a Lincoln.
terminals down there were fucked up. So I ended up replacing the terminals. That's after I had a mechanic come out and did all sorts of shit. The terminals in the fender, which I didn't know existed, were rusting and loose, and I replaced them. The car seems to be doing better. Yeah.
I had a Lincoln that had a battery in a very similar place. Not exactly under the fender, but it was like you had to like dig into the trunk, and it was like down
I've
buried
seen them
underneath.
under the seat, in the
You had to pull.
trunk.
Oh,
Yeah, you
well, I
had to
mean,
pull the
that's...
carpet up from the trunk, and like you had to like pull all this whole metal plate out, and it was kind of like
Oh, that's
it
weird.
was kind of buried under the like the back left wheel well
I've
kind of,
seen
and
that. Yeah.
it was very weird, and like I at first at first I was so confused whenever the battery was dead because I opened the hood and I was like there is
There's
no
no
battery.
battery.
Where's the battery
Mhm.
at? Like I don't know how to I don't know what to do. I had to like look it up online and trying to like find like
That's how I did.
where's the battery? Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like this isn't good. There's no battery in this car. What can I do?
The car at all.
That'd be like the same thing if like if you went to change a tire and you found out like the tires didn't come off or something like that. The tires didn't have like bolts, and you'd just be like, what? How do I untire? You know?
YouTube
I never
is
had
your
that happen, but yeah.
YouTube is your best friend. I'm telling you, you can
Yeah,
YouTube
no,
anything
YouTube
nowadays,
anything.
right?
Yeah, that was even back. That was back years. That was back 10 years ago, and like that was still. I still used YouTube for that
Still
back then.
work.
But,
Yeah.
Jeff, you're
There was a-
starting to look like Talcott over there in the corner.
Me? What should I do?
How? Yeah, how can you fix it? Hurry.
Yeah.
Let's not.
No, I'm just
Oh,
playing.
should I
I'm just
talk with
playing.
my hand?
Yeah. Is he
No,
making
it's 'cause
faces or
Jack-
something?
Yeah,
Because
make
Jack will
weird like make
oftentimes
weird
he'll,
hand
like, zone
symbols.
off,
I
and
do
you'll
talk
see
with my
in his
hands. I don't know
face.
why they're not.
You'll see
I guess
Jack
they're not
like
talking.
zone off when everybody else is talking, and then he'll
Well,
start
I
getting
don't.
mad. He'll start looking. Ooh.
I don't really know cars, so I don't have anything. Like I'm just
No, I totally get it. That's why I keep the cam off
pulling
for
back.
this conversation.
I know what you should do,
There's
Jeff.
no
You
role
need,
for me right now.
Jeff. You need to learn some close-up magic that you can do in front of the camera when everyone else is talking. That way you can look that way. That way that you've got like you can do like little card tricks and stuff like that, and you're just doing that stuff that way.
Don't you realize he's already doing magic? He's rocking back and forth. He's casting a spell on us.
I make two of us there look like I
It's
got
not
autism.
Jeff
too,
Jeff
the way
is
I
not
rock
casting
around.
any spells.
I was
That's
just
Baphomet.
kidding.
That's Baphomet that's
I'm
doing that,
so
dude.
That's my voodoo.
Baphomet's casting the spells. It's clear. He's right there, and he's the one casting the spells, not Jeff. Jeff is just his servant. Jeff is just his servant of the Dark Lord.
I live to serve.
Softest fucking Satanists ever met, right? No dead chickens and blood on the wall in the vine.
No,
He's
like I
not
was.
pulling a Marina Abramovich or anything, so we're cool.
It's like I said the other day. I used to have like the waitress at IHOP that used to that literally like named OJ, and like this the old Cajun black lady that used to like carry around this big old buck knife, and people got out of line. She said like, I've got a chicken with your name on it. Oh, I didn't even finish. I forgot to finish that story though. One day
Right.
one day we went in to and she wasn't there. She had to go home sick or something like that. And one of the waitresses was like, "Oh, she forgot her cell phone here. Would you guys mind running her cell phone over to her?" I mean, well, I've never.
OJ like a son bitch, bro.
I don't know where she lives.
I'm not
I don't know
taking
where
her
she
shit.
lives. I don't know where but this woman loved me. She was always sweet as hell to me. Okay, so like I was like,
See,
yeah,
I ain't
just
worked out,
tell
bro.
if you're sure you don't mind if we know where she lives. I mean, like, maybe ask her first. And they did. They asked her, and like they gave me their apartment number, which was just like right behind the IHOP. So it was literally we could walk there if we wanted, but we just drove over there to the thing, and I knocked on her door, and sure enough, whenever I opened the door, she had fucking chickens in her house, in her
Oh.
apartment. She had a chicken pen in her living room.
Yeah, my
So,
friend has a pet.
So
What is
I
that
thought
about?
She's this wealthy lady in New Orleans. She lives in a mansion, and she has this cage in her mansion of chicken house pets, and she like lets them run around. She pets them. It's
Oh,
a
they're
thing.
like
Well,
pets. Okay.
People have chickens as pets now.
No,
But
I didn't know that.
I thought she was just like making like a kind of a ridiculous over the top joke about like voodoo stuff about the chicken thing.
Oh,
She
she
was
really
saying
did have a chicken.
when
with her name on it.
when she said she had a chicken with your name on it, she was talking about she was gonna do some voodoo shit against you. She was gonna sacrifice a chicken and like for a voodoo
Maybe she
thing
was.
Right.
to and then I opened that, I was like, holy shit, she really has chickens. That's fucked up, man. Like she really is putting some voodoo spells on some people. I'm sure glad I'm on her good side. But like I opened the door. She opened the door and she was like Chris, I'm so happy to see you. I've always liked you. Thank you so much for bringing my phone. You want to come in for a second? It's like I had a couple other people with me though. And she's like, not them.
Did
So
she
I
also-
went in for a second, very uncomfortably talked to her. I was just like, yeah, no, everything's cool. Like, I mean, we're just gonna go back. I don't want to leave
Right.
outside and stuff like that. So like, it's cool. Like, but I appreciate you invite me in. And I gave her a hug and we left. But like, yeah, but like that, I was like that. Like, I was just like, holy shit, like. She really does have chickens with people's names on them. Like, that's not a joke.
We got two chicken coops, two big ass coops out here.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just weird that it was in an apartment. It wasn't like
yes,
out.
I was about to say
was
they're not
in her
pets.
living room.
They're not
saw
indoors
them.
and they're not
Yeah.
pets. Right.
Yeah, in like right where you would normally see like a television and a living room, like a couch type area. There was like some chicken wire all like sitting around like there was one little coop and like there was like
That
about
is
5
so
chickens
weird.
in there.
I've seen
Oh,
people
man.
do that to the birds, right? They'll dedicate a room or two to the birds, and the birds just shit all over the fucking place, bro.
Yeah, no,
In apartments
she
and
had a
shit, it's
plastic
weird.
sheet down underneath it, so it wasn't like they were. I mean, she had it protected, but I mean, it was still really
So
weird.
what do you think? You think she was sacrificing? They weren't pets, right? That was for something else.
Yeah, I had heard her say that to so many people. I mean, she really did. I mean, she really would scare the shit out of because a lot of times like we would always be there late at night. We were like the overnight shift. She was an overnight waitress.
Yeah,
she was
the best
the overnight waitress.
shift.
And we had our booth that we always sat in this back corner booth, and like our group always did. And like she would kick people out of it if they were there when we got there.
Okay.
She was very nice to us all the time, or very nice to me anyway. And then people would come in like big groups would come in from the clubs or whatever. They'd come in from the club.
Yeah.
And we didn't have many clubs, but they come in from the bars. The bars would close, and they'd show up at IHOP, and they'd be drunk, and they'd be unruly.
Yes,
and
that
and
shift, that late night, early morning shit, it gotta be the most exciting shit in the world.
Yeah, and we were chill. Like we never caused any trouble. Like we never caused any. We would just sit there and drink coffee, and we'd order food when we could. And I always tipped her. I always left her $10 on the table every time I left. So she was always nice like that. But when people got unruly, she would like if they started like getting out of line, she would come over and she'd be like, "Now you guys need to calm down." And like if they gave her a lip back, she'd pull this freaking like Crocodile Dundee knife out. Like that. Oh, that's not a knife. Like this is a knife kind of thing. Like she'd pull out this big ass knife, and she'd be like, you don't want to fuck with me.
She pulled a knife on customers.
Dude, what in the world is wrong with the people you hang out with, brother?
I didn't hang. She was the time I hung out with. She was the
You went to our
waitress at the
house.
IHOP I went
He
to.
let you at our house.
Honestly,
I
I'm
was-
You
I
shocked
didn't-
went to the
waffle-
chicken
that's a-
coop, bro.
Yeah,
I didn't.
You
She
made
was
the
the
cut
waitress
over a
at
whole
the
bunch of
IHOP.
people, and she
I'm
made
shocked
She
them
it
was
was
the
a-
waitress at the IHOP that we used to hang out at. This was like
Well,
back whenever
you
they
had
still
some
they
kind of
before
But
they
you
had.
still went to the chicken coop, Chris. So like,
I didn't
there's
know there was
something-
a. I didn't know there was a real chicken coop. I didn't think that was real.
So you think Mosey's cursed now?
No,
I don't
no,
know
no. I
if
mean,
he's
she's
cursed or he
she was
just
she was
hanging
in her
out with some
60s back. She was in her 60s back 20 years ago. So I don't think I doubt
Yeah.
she's still alive. But
The first time that happened to me, I would never go back to that IHOP again, ever.
Not unless she left the phone, or he probably didn't go back to her crib.
I thought it was hilarious. Plus, she let us stay all night, and
Yeah,
she
I
would
mean,
always
if I had
she'd
to,
give me
if I
free
had to smash.
and it was free. It was free coffee. She let us. We could still smoke inside back then, and she kept our booth for us. I mean, it was like home. Like I didn't care. We didn't worry about people getting unruly, and like because we knew that
Right.
Bojay was there,
IHOP.
she took care of it. I mean,
Also,
like
it was
she
IHOP,
took care.
like,
Yeah.
IHOP's not
And if-
exactly known for being too unruly.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's not
Like
like
one in
Waffle House.
Seattle, it went viral. There's this huge fight that broke out at IHOP.
When?
I
Like
so
a
I
few years
see it.
ago. I think like maybe shortly after
She-
COVID, and it went.
she was
viral.
like a
the
bouncer.
whole-
She was-
it was the whole restaurant was just beating each other up.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, but that's not like Waffle House bad though.
Waffle House is something else.
Waffle
You
House.
Wait a
Waffle House,
second.
yeah,
Tell me
Between a
about
fight
this
in an
Waffle
IHOP and a
House
fight in
theory.
the Waffle House.
It's the same
You don't
thing
know about
he's
Waffle
talking
House,
about.
Moose?
Everybody piles in after they party and shit, and it's always fucking
Waffle
fights.
House
Even
is
the
like-
people working behind the counter is grimy. I mean, everybody on that shift at the Waffle House.
See,
Yeah.
that's why I
prepared
like
for
going to the
action.
Cracker Barrel because everybody's Chuck's age and I can whoop their ass.
I used to hang out. We used to
har.
hang out at my fair share of Waffle Houses. Honestly, Waffle Houses, I saw far less drama in Waffle Houses than I saw at that particular IHOP because I don't know, like for some reason, it like the unruly people just like to go there instead of to the Denny's or to the Waffle House. The Waffle House, I think
Denny's
the
is
Waffle House,
another one.
the Waffle House was the Denny's would just call the cops on you. See, like Denny's, if you got out of hand, they just call the cops on you and you just get arrested. At IHOP, you would just get threatened with a knife and you just leave. And she was more like a bouncer in that sense, like, you know, the same way, like, you know, I mean, you know, like you got a bouncer in some place and like
Neighborhood
people
shit, yeah.
unruly, you know, yeah. They
Chuck,
kick
there's
the
nothing
person.
wrong with being older. It just means you're safer.
Is that true? Why would
Well,
you say that?
Because
I
you
guess
carry
in
Hell, I
a
some
got-
ways.
sidearm.
Why you say most?
I
I can
got-
see it in some ways.
I got accused of making Joe go attack Jack the other night.
You got accused of making
Joe,
Joe
are
attack
you
Jack.
bullying Jack? Are you still bullying Jack? What did you do to him the other night?
I got booted his
Yeah.
record time the other
Joe
night.
works. Joe works for me now. Did you know that?
Oh. Well,
I
God,
swear.
I'm glad you guys formed an
Paranoia
alliance.
on these
And-
panels.
Right, Chuck needs
Like-
a friend, right?
Yeah, who needs my panel survivor idea whenever it's just happening in real time?
Well, yeah,
We're
right.
actually-
It's happening in real time.
Panel survivor is just happening. It's
We
just
don't even
it's just-
need the
it's-
game version anymore.
Panel Survivor happens every time at Jack's. It's about how long we can
Right.
go pool.
We can place bets, man. I wouldn't be a good fan. I get pumped too
It's
much.
panel versus survivor right now, and people are getting. I mean, like Jeff got voted out of
I'm
Flow
getting
State.
voted out of so many tribes lately.
You
How
got-
the
you got
fuck
one-
Jeff? He don't never fucking offend nobody.
I know, Jeff
I know,
never
right?
offends anybody. I'm the one who used to get thrown out within 30 seconds.
That's usually
Yeah.
me. Moose, you're
Chuck
way.
got my record beat though. Chuck
You-
just got and Chuck got
Yeah.
my record beat. Yeah.
You
He
just
can't
mentioned my
stand
name
Chuck.
and you're gone.
You're right. Some days it's horrible.
Jeff got kicked out of
Who is
TML and out of Flow State. What's the other?
I left
Jack
Flow
got kicked
State.
out.
TML.
Jack-
Wait, you
kicked me
got
of his
kicked out of
Discord after I
TML?
timed him out.
Right. Is that possible?
Jack did.
Jack
Jack
No,
too?
we're talking
about
Jeff
TML
here. We're talking
Nero
soft
Jack.
Jeff.
And Nero Jack's not coming back anymore because he freaked out about Cynthia.
I don't know
Wait,
none of that, bro.
What's wrong with Cynthia? What the heck?
I don't know.
Right?
Part of this,
Cynthia
like,
and you for some reason, Moose. I
Sinister
don't know.
cabal.
I don't know. Jack thinks that you and Cynthia are agents of some
The
of
Moose
chaos
is
of some
definitely an
kind.
agent. I don't know about Cynthia.
yeah,
Moose is
Moose's
definitely
name
an
has
agent.
come up.
You got to pull him back every day. His nature is to He's knows it's so easy to fuck over Jack. So he's like on
Wait
good
a
behavior.
second. I've been on the clear for about 6 months now.
That's what I was trying to get there. It feels like you're always holding back and being on your best behavior. Yeah.
I've never heard MoOse do a single thing that made me think a
MoOse?
single negative thing about him.
No, he's
ever.
like a boy.
He is
Oh Lord.
He's like altar boy level. Like, and I hear all this horrible thing about him. Like, MoOse, our MoOse?
Yep.
MoOse
Moose
no.
is nasty.
Yeah,
Moose is nasty.
He can
Joe,
come in and just
give
drop
it
the
to him.
littlest shit. He been nice and like we say, best behavior shit. Actually clowning, doing very well lately. But he loves when he sees shit about to go. He'll hop up there and be like, Jack, this is your room. You shouldn't let him talk to you like that. Because he know he's just that's all it takes to send Jack home.
Yeah.
He does it less now, but he's a pro at that shit. Come on, guys. Let's be kind to Jack. He's trying to talk. God damn it, y'all saw me trying to talk. That's all it took was MoOse in his ear and
Yep.
sensor.
Yep. Yep.
Talking about Jack Talcott, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
The one and only.
Yeah.
The cot.
Yeah.
There's
How,
a couple Jacks.
how did
Neuro
Jack
Jack
get
is the
kicked
other
and
Jack.
how did Jeff get kicked?
Kind of keeping his distance lately.
TML got
Jack-
in. Jack and TML got into it.
Yeah. Took him out of
Yeah, no,
Discord
they did.
too.
Do we remember
Me
what
and
it was?
Jack
Do you
are
guys
floating on
remember
the
what it was
same old
on?
island right now.
Yeah, I do.
Tell me.
Jack called TML a whiny little bitch, and then said, and then Paul said, or Jack said that Paul was right, that MoOse and Chuck and Cynthia and Lindsay and TML and Flo were all there just to ride on his coattails to success.
Ooh,
Who said this?
Yeah,
Jack.
Jack
Said
did.
they were all riding on his coat. Some of those coattails are bigger than his.
Well, that's not the way he saw it.
Wow.
I don't
and
care what
Jeff,
you say. As far as I'm concerned, we're
all.
all riding on Chuck's coattails. As far as I'm concerned.
I was there when
Oh,
Jeff
I mean,
got
yeah.
kicked. I wasn't there when you got kicked, but when I was there, we were talking about, I think it was about autism, you and a chick or something, and Jesse had went live, and I felt that he needed the support more than Flo. But is that how you got kicked behind that conversation?
No.
Okay.
Well,
Joe has the biggest coattails of anybody right now. We're all riding those coattails.
Does he really?
Yeah, he has 125.
Holy
TML jumped here on Jeff's stream and laid into Jeff for no reason.
And Cynthia. Well, no, Cynthia
Yeah.
was the lead. It was Cynthia, and then
What was
like
their-
made up the next day, and now they're friends.
What was their gripe against you?
That I was friends with, like, I don't know, something about Cynthia that I
The
was
guilt by association nonsense.
Yep.
Exactly.
Well, it was specifically about like platforming. It was that he was platforming the lies or whatever. I'm not gonna,
even though she didn't come on and tell any of them.
Oh,
she didn't come on and say any of them.
We weren't talking about. We were talking about TMLs, but we wasn't talking about his personal stuff. We were talking about in a panel type discussion.
Yeah, what is
and
that?
We were trying to get to the bottom of what happened and why he was upset, and then he took that somehow as being an endorsement of, I don't know. It's
like,
I mean,
allying with Cynthia against.
I have
him.
messaged with him.
Yeah,
I
I
messaged
get it
him about it.
because
I still
you
don't get it.
probably saw some of her critiques as having validity, and that's all it took. You're siding with her against me, something like that. I'm guessing.
No, but he didn't though. He didn't even say anything in a positive manner towards what Lindsay said or
It's
what
all
Cynthia
on
said.
screen. Like, anybody could see it.
Yeah.
Like, none of it happened off screen. This was all happening live.
Yeah, it's all happening on
He was in
stream.
the comments, like, attacking Cynthia and attacking me and cursing us out, and then he came on the panel and continued that same.
To curse
like,
you out.
He came on hot. He came on hot.
Right,
and
and
yelling.
like I said, it's not just about me, because I can go toe to toe with Machine, like, here and there, but I got to look out for my guests. Like, you're not going to come and harass, like, curse out all my guests.
Yeah.
Well, then it turned into cursing you out.
Yeah.
because you
Jack's
wouldn't
kinda-
allow
Jack's-
him to
But he
curse.
took me out of the disc. I timed him out when he was doing his little drive-by cursing. I
Mhm.
timed him out, and then he took me out of
Just
the
like we
Discord.
do,
And
everybody.
he came on the panel, and he's like, "By the way, I just took you out of the Discord." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, I
okay.
guess that's that."
Okay.
Like, I don't know how you go back from that. So
Yeah.
Yeah, that time me out. How dare you?
Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Machine-
being timed out is not even like a. It's not
although
even
I
much of a
will admit,
punishment.
I've been timed out before on another channel, and I left. Like I did not appreciate it one bit, because I felt like
But
I was unfairly timed out, and I never went back to the channel again.
I usually leave. It's too many shits. I might come back. But shit, if somebody time me out, that's 5 minutes. I could be over here on the panel by then. I'm not gonna wait 5 minutes. You know, I'm not
I'll tell you
mad.
what,
Fuck
though,
that.
these people feeding Jack's ego ain't doing him any good.
I might be guilty of that. I feed his ego.
Do
Mm-hmm.
you?
I think so. I big up him when he does right. The same way I criticize him when I
Well,
think he does wrong.
there's nothing wrong with that. Is there nothing wrong with feeding his ego if you're giving him good feedback when he says good things? That's fine. But feeding his ego is more like patting him on the head and telling him everything he's doing is right.
I
That's
couldn't
not
do that. Yeah.
that's you're not feeding his ego. Then you're just pointing out that when he makes a good point, he makes a good point. There's
Yes.
nothing wrong with that. You
I
should
think
do
it's a
that. You
good
should
thing.
you should encourage people when they make a good point.
Right. I think
And
so.
when they make bad points, you should try to point that out best you can and try to understand like why they have that bad take. You should try to you could try to
That's
get to the
when the
bottom of it.
trouble starts.
He can take all of the compliments, but any criticisms he's not okay with. Which I heard about some guy in Africa. He won't even take compliments, because then he'd say that I'd have to accept your criticisms as well. I don't know if that's smart or not, but that's
Oh
Jack. You
man,
got to be able to take
that's
both.
almost kind of based. I almost kind of respect that. It's like you know what? I'm not going to even take your compliments because I'm not going to take your criticisms well. So like I'm just going to reject it all. I'm just going to.
Yes, I've never seen that.
I almost respect that. I almost respect that. It's at least it's honest. Like I know that you're going to criticize me eventually, and I'm not going to take that well. So I'm not
I'm not
going
gonna believe that, so it's not logical for me to believe your compliments either.
I mean, it's stupid, but kind of based a little bit.
Yeah, but it makes me think that I use that story in my head. I don't think I've ever been told it out loud, but in my head I use that because if you're accepting compliments, Joe, you got to be very open to accepting criticisms. So that's how I keep aware of that through that story.
Yeah, but anyways, it's top of the hour. I'm probably gonna have to head out. I gotta go run some errands.
sorry. Yeah.
But
I didn't
Right.
realize you had to go so soon, but I guess
Oh,
we have been
yeah, I
streaming.
mean,
I didn't realize it's been
yeah.
2 hours. God damn, this is
Yeah,
not,
I mean, we can
this
wind down.
flew
We've
by
been-
today.
we've been doing like 3
I
hour
swear.
streams pretty consistently.
I know, but like I swear I thought we've been going for maybe an hour. I had no
Do
idea.
y'all do this
2 hours.
every day, a schedule or something? Every
Yeah,
day.
every day. Every day at 2 p.m. Central.
All right.
Same
All
time.
They're
right.
usually here on the weekends, and I'm usually here on the weekdays.
Jeff, you mind if I give you my number? I'll put in the back chat. You can text me when you're over here. Is that something you do?
When I stream.
Uh,
Why don't you just come on Discord, man? Just join Discord.
oh man, that shit like Chinese arithmetic to me, man. I can't. Discord shit is hard to figure out.
I'm telling you, Joe.
When we go live.
Well, you don't need a text though because it's every day at 2 p.m. Central.
Well,
Or
I'll
Okay,
just
I'm in
I'll
the
just
mountains.
text
I'm
him
in.
the schedule. I'll text
I'm
him
in
the-
Colorado. It's what time is it here?
so
It's
that's Mountain Time.
it's
Mountain
3
time
o'clock
should be
here.
3 o'clock. Yeah, so it'd be 3 o'clock.
If you
your time.
subscribe
That's
to
simple.
YouTube, it'll tell you that it'll calculate for you, tell you the
Yeah.
time in your time zone that we come on. But I'll text you our time.
Well, now that he
Yeah.
talked, apparently we're in the same fucking time zone. If I can remember, 2 o'clock. Because I'm always, whenever I take breaks when I'm working throughout the day, I'm just looking for somebody to chat with. And normally, I got so many people. I'm subbing so many people. The first 1 or 2 that come up is where I go. But I really like you cats, and I really like Lib. I'd prefer to hear you guys' conversation.
Oh,
All right,
Cool.
you guys
Good
be easy.
deal.
Chuck, be easy, bro.
All right.
Yeah, that's the kind of place we're trying to cultivate. I feel like we, even though like we're we have like the small subscriber count of everybody in like this little panel verse thing. It's weird because like we're like I feel like we're like there's always those bands that all the other bands listen to, right? Like there's always like if like when you're in if you're into indie music or something like that, there's like you find out about a band that like all the other bands like that's the one that they all look to. I feel like that's what we've kind of cultivated here. Like we're the stream that all other stream creators kind of like come to hang out with and not feel like and kind of like chill and not feel as stressed out as they do on their own shows. So I feel like we're kind of like that one really tiny band that like not many people know about, that we're not really super popular, but all the other creators and all the other bands, they all know about us. And like that, it's kind of cool in a way. It's kind of like, it kind of sucks because it means that not many people watching us, but at the same time, I think that there's a certain kind of honor in that.
I hope they tell their friends because we're halfway there.
Yeah, I know. Wait, 223
Don't worry.
today? We're at the
It'll
magic number of
happen.
223. 223. I need to, yeah, I'll ask you about that off stream though. Never mind.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I mean,
thanks, everyone for being here once again. We sincerely appreciate it. It's why we do this at all. So good seeing everyone. And
hey, well, the Tim, are you on the Discord? I mean, you said like your chat besties and everything. If you're on the Discord, you're welcome to come and watch TV shows and movies with us. Like we watched Survivor.
Oh yeah,
and
Tim, I was supposed to get you an invitation. Did we ever do that? If you want to come backstage real quick, I can put the invitation back there. You can grab it.
Yeah, you don't have to come on the stream. I mean, you've come on the stream before, but you just click the StreamYard link so we can drop you the Discord link.
Otherwise, if you have an email or if you're on Discord, I can send it to you.
Yeah, definitely. Because like
we're catching up on some of the older survivors, and we started with season 37. It's David and Goliath. And we're 2 episodes in, so we'll probably watch more of that on Discord today. So if anybody wants to join us for that, I don't think it's too late.
Is that show still going?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still, yeah,
the new season premiered last night. We watched it.
Yeah, I did not know that Mike White was on an episode on a season of Survivor.
You know who he is?
Mike White, yeah, I'm a huge fan of his. Like he directed a movie, one of the first indie movies I ever saw in theaters. Like whenever I was younger, whenever I finally got my license and I could drive to Dallas and go see like indie movies and stuff like that. At the Landmark, I remember I watched it. We went to a double feature one day. I watched Chuck and Buck, which is a film that he made. He wrote and directed, and I watched Magnolia the same day, which I know you hate, but I love it. But Chuck and Buck was one of the very first like theatrically released films that was shot in like
Chuck and Buck. I saw Chuck and Buck. He did that one.
Yeah, he wrote and directed that. Yeah.
Oh, I did see Chuck and Buck. That was
it's a weird movie. It's a weird movie.
Yeah.
Oh. But it was important. It was an important film in the sense that it was the very first film that was shot all on digital video that was ever released to theaters. It was a big step forward for low budget independent filmmaking, and that's the reason why it was. It always and he also he was the main writer behind that show. I think it was called Enlightened that had Laura Linney in it. That was a pretty good show. And a couple other things that he did that I've really been a big fan of. But yeah, I was like, why is Mike White on this show? Like, are the rest of people on the Goliath team, or are they supposed to be famous or something like that? Because I didn't recognize anybody else.
No,
it was just
there was one season where Lisa Welchel was a contestant. Blair from Facts of Life was a contestant.
Well, I mean, Mike White's more like he's like someone who actually is working still in the industry, like and stuff like that. So like that's just like it's just weird that like he was on Survivor. I had no idea. I just think it's just an odd choice to like they would cast somebody. I figured it was like a celebrity Survivor.
Every now and then, like celebrities get in, they throw them in with everybody. A lot of like sometimes they'll have famous sports figures that they'll throw in.
Yeah, I've seen a couple like people that were like actually. I mean, I don't know who they are, but I could tell by the way that people talked about them that they were famous sports people. But I just had no idea. Like someone like he's just a mostly a screenwriter.
He probably applied and got. He is a fan. I mean, he said he was a super fan, so he probably applied and.
I'm sure.
They cast him.
Yeah, I was just surprised by that. I was like, that's really cool. Like Mike White's on this. Like it's cool. Yeah, we've also got that show. We've got that show Raised by Wolves. We also have that show Foundation. I think I downloaded the first couple episodes of that to see if we want to check that out. Yep, that's what I've got though right now. I mean, of course, there's always more things to get and that we can watch. But MoOse, you got any last words? You got any last words before we walk you off the plank?
Do our little send off thing.
Walk the plank.
Yep, we're gonna walk you off the plank. Yeah, matey.
Well, he may be away.
He's got the big fish.
Chuck, do you have anything you want to close with?
No, I'm good. Good show as usual, fellas. Keep it up.
Okay, we'll see.
Are you guys kidding me? You guys are closing down the show already? You got something to do, Jeff?
Yeah, we got a lot of Survivor to watch.
All right, I'll see you there. Oh, but before I go, I just want to remind everybody, if you hit that like, that share, subscribe button, it will greatly help this channel. This channel is here every single day, 7 days a week for you. And I just don't know what else to say other than if you want more, you got to give more. That's that. You got to give to get, people. Give to get.
I don't know what more. Well, we'll talk about that more. I don't know what more I have to give that they might be wanting. But yeah, definitely like and subscribe and tell your friends because we're trying to get our numbers to 500 so we can start.
That TikTok that Lib dropped in the private chat's actually really funny. If you check it out, I think it was. I checked it out a minute ago. It's actually really funny.
I checked it out, but I forgot to pay attention to it. But I did pull it up. Oh, because it has this capture, it's trying to get me to verify it. I didn't want to play around with it.
Oh, I just clicked past that. All that I just hit you continue as guest and then just exited out of it and then watched it. But yeah, I know I hate that. Like I know I technically I think I have a TikTok account somewhere, but I haven't used it ever. So like I don't even know. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, as always, thank you to everyone in the comments. Tim, like I said, please if you're not a member of the Discord, please get a hold of one of us. You can always email me at that panel survivor link that's right there on the screen. I can get you an email. I can get you a link from there too. I mean, that's not what it's for, but you can use that to get a hold of me if you need to, if you want to, you want a Discord link. So, and we got 11 likes in this episode. So we got 8 people watching. It says so. Like that's a lot of likes for a Thursday day stream. So good on you guys. Thanks for watching, and you have a great rest of your day, and hopefully soon the weekend. So. See you tomorrow on Friday.
Oh, right. Today feels like a Friday for some reason.
It does feel like a Friday, but tomorrow's our court date thing. So like we have a big Friday tomorrow. So
okay. So
all right, guys,
you'll be in bed.
What's that?
Are you going to be here tomorrow?
Oh yeah, it's the court date's at 10 in the morning, and it's only going to go for 45 minutes. So we'll be back way before then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, there's not going to be anything to. I might be a little late. I do have I have a very short check-in with my behavioral psychologist doctor that's like at 1:30. But but it'll be fat. Every one of these things I've had, they last like 10 minutes. So I'm not expecting it to last any longer than that. So if I'm a few minutes late, just I'm doing that.
All right. Well, take care.
All right. Well, you too. I'll see you on the Discord in a minute. Bye.
All right. You know where to find us tomorrow and today. We got a chicken with y'all's name on it.